Look at the things you're into, seriously. I just love how he gets wet in a suit. Like, what?
No, because, obviously being from the north, merely owning a jacket, even in winter, is questionable. I just like to see somebody who's just like, I don't care, it's raining. It's better than hiding under an umbrella or something, isn't it?
What? What, to keep yourself dry?
Yeah.
No, how naive. Who would think of such a thing?
Get out there.
Maybe it's a waterproof suit.
Asmir, it's been brilliant to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll chat to you again soon.
Guys, thank you. Good to see you all.
Asmir.
Take care.
Top man. Asmir Begovic, Everton goalkeeper, who's been with us on Premier League Sunday. Nader Manu and Curtis Davis with us for another hour. We will be able to bring you the team news very, very shortly from Molineux and St Mary's. We will do that after the latest news on 5 Live with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
NATO says it now believes at least 20 people have been killed in the violence and chaos at Kabul airport this week, where thousands have been trying to escape Afghanistan since the Taliban took over much of the country. The Ministry of Defence says so far the situation appears calmer today, allowing a steady flow of departures. Tony Blair has described the US withdrawal from Afghanistan as tragic, dangerous and unnecessary. The former Prime Minister deployed British troops to the country 20 years ago.
We were in a situation where our engagement was dramatically different from where it was 10 years ago, never mind 20 years ago, and where we could have managed the situation. And the problem with what's happened now, and this is my worry, is that it's not just about the Afghan people, it's about us and our security. You look around the world, and the only people really cheering this decision are the people hostile to Western interests.
A man's been charged with murdering his wife at their home in Leeds. Eileen Barrett died at the property last Sunday. Mark Barrett, who's 54, was arrested in Murray in the early hours of Thursday. He's due in court tomorrow. Antibody tests will be offered to thousands of adults who test positive for coronavirus in the UK as part of a scheme to find out how much natural protection people have after becoming infected. Anyone over 18 will be able to opt in when having a PCR test from Tuesday. Linda Bold is Professor of Public Health at Edinburgh University.
So in England, around 94% of people in the ONS infection survey do have antibodies at the moment. But what's interesting is that you see in older age groups over time that's started to wane a little bit. So that's interesting and maybe contributing to the discussion around boosters, for example. You also see different levels of antibodies depending on age groups, which might be related to vaccines. But remember, not everybody's taken up a vaccine.
Reports from Japan say venues used for the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics could be turned into temporary coronavirus medical centres. The country's tackling a surge in cases. The Paralympic Games, which begin on Tuesday, will be held largely without spectators.
The Premier League is back.
Dances through, shoots and scores from the angle. That's a brilliant goal.
And on the Football Daily podcast, we'll bring you the latest analysis, debate and news.
With some of the biggest names in the game all season long.
Gets onto his left foot, he's dancing around defenders and he stabs it into the bottom corner.
5 Live's Football Daily, your daily dose of the beautiful game.
Listen and subscribe on the BBC Sounds app.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday
with Steve Crossman.
We're 1 hour from kick-off in our first commentary of the day. Southampton versus Manchester United. Can United carry their momentum?
When you win games, you enjoy yourself more. We've just got to make sure that we bring in more energy to the next one and being even better.
Will be Kane spotting on Nuno's return to Molineux.
It's going to be special. 4 years of hard work, 4 years that the Wolves fans were so supportive and so good to us.
On 5 Live Sport, this is Premier League Sunday.
Greenwood turning, shooting low, and he finds the bottom corner.
Tell a lovely back heel, Walcott. Oh, it's into the bottom corner. Shaw gets to the byline towards Bruno Fernandes, who produces a magnificent volleyed finish.
It falls to Adams. Oh, what a hit by Shea Adams against his former club.
Fernandes back to Cavani. Into the top corner with his right foot.
It's Ward-Prowse against Schmeichel, and Ward-Prowse fires it low to Schmeichel's right. Greenwood is there, dances through, shoots and scores from the angle. That's a brilliant goal.
Redmond going wide. Redmond has scored a magnificent goal for Southampton.
And we're obviously going to start with the big question. Where is Harry Kane? Sahil Sahi.
Steve, Harry Kane he's on the bench.
That's the main headline concerning the team news around Tottenham. What will now be fascinating, I think, Steve, is to see if the England captain gets onto the pitch at any time during the game. That'd be really, really interesting to watch. Nuno Espirito Santo, he returns to Molineux after 4 very good years. He sticks with the 11 who beat champions Manchester City last Sunday. Bruno Lage, he makes 1 alteration to his Wolves side. Nelson Semedo, he replaces Kylian Houvert as the right wing back.
Nadim Manur and Curtis Davis with us. What you expected, Nadim?
Yeah, I guess so. He's by all accounts, he's not played any games in pre-season or anything like that. So to throw him straight in would be a big statement. So I get it. It's good that he's in the squad because he is a Spurs player. You know, bringing back one of your best players little by little after a very, very strong summer with England. So yeah, nothing to see here apparently. What do you think, Curtis?
They've just beat Man City.
Yeah,
played really well. So I think obviously Kane is a big player, but if he hasn't had that training, he hasn't had the game time, go with the same team and hopefully you can do an even better number on Wolves.
Yeah, that's exactly what Nuno's just said actually on TV. The team is the same because we did well last week. There is a couple of factors there which make this more likely. I wonder if, the takeaway, Nadim, if you like, is, people have said if Kane wants to get a move, he's effectively got to refuse to play or whatever. Clearly, that's not happening.
Yeah, that's not the case at all, is it? I think if Kane's going to leave, it's down to Daniel Levy. Whether Kane decides to throw his toys out the pram or play week in, week out, makes no difference. If Spurs accept the bid, then that's all it's going to be. But interestingly, Steve, what you just said then about how the team did well last week, so he's going to keep it the same. If Kane stayed at Spurs for the whole season and then he got injured for maybe a week or two and then Spurs won 2 games, do you think they're going to put Kane back into the team, or are they going to put him on the bench and say, well, to be honest, the team won last week, so we're going to keep it the same?
I would argue if Harry Kane is fit, he plays regardless. If you've just beaten Manchester City 5-0.
So there you go. So the answer he's given, I think, is an easy answer for today, based on several factors. But whether or not that is actually the truth, I'm not too sure.
You think sometimes football managers say things they don't really mean, Ned?
To be honest, it's nice to hear them just say stuff in general. But I enjoy reading between the lines, and there's a few little bits in there. Yeah, a few little nuggets.
So Harry Kane is on the bench for Tottenham Hotspur at Wolves as Nuno Espirito Santo makes his return. Our commentary game is at St Mary's. It's Southampton versus Manchester United, and Robin Cowan is your commentator.
And the team news from St Mary's. Southampton, the home side, unchanged. There are home debuts for new signings: Tino Livramento, Romain Perraud and Adam Armstrong, who scored on his full debut last week against Everton. 2 changes for Manchester United this afternoon. Scott McTominay, who's got a slight knock, drops to the bench, as does Dan James. Nemanja Matic comes into the midfield, and there's also a starting place for Anthony Martial, who hasn't scored since the 9-0 win against Southampton at Old Trafford last season. You can tick off a mention of a 9-0 on your bingo cards already, Southampton fans. There is a place on the bench for the first time for defender Raphael Varane and for Jadon Sancho. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says they're both not quite ready to start, but they're making good progress and will be ready if needed today.
Delighted to say alongside Robin for commentary, Karen Carney. Afternoon, Kaz.
What's happening, Crossy? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
Brilliant. I'm at a football ground. I'm buzzing.
I know, and I'm buzzing for you. Although I'll be honest, when Robin said 2 changes for Manchester United, I was thinking, is this going to be Varane and is it going to be Sancho? But you'll have to wait a bit.
Yeah, she sold you a dream there.
She did.
But that's the best commentators, though. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game today. I think Southampton need a response, and as you said, we're just anticipating whether they will feature Varane and Sancho at some point today.
Do you think, Nadim, looking at that forward line, which is Martial, Greenwood, Bruno, is it Martial who's the one who's got the most to fear at the moment for his place in the team?
I don't know. This is the thing. We can have our view from the outside, but the people who are training day in, day out know what the vibe is. They know what the feel is. For all we know, Martial might have an extended run in the team even when everybody's fit, so we're not sure. But on paper, you would say that is going to be the case. But even still, with Greenwood in there as well, when Rashford does come back in, when Cavani comes back in and stuff like that, let's be clear, United's looking very nice. And it's nice to see them playing with a false 9 as well, nothing to be spoken about. Maybe they don't need a striker either.
Is Martial a false 9?
Well, listen.
Manchester United fans jumping up and down at that, I would imagine.
No, sorry. In my head, it's because of the way you set it up. I thought you were saying that Fernandes was playing through the middle, Martial was on the right. That's my fault. I take that back. Don't cancel me. Not yet. Not yet. But yeah, you would think that he's under a bit of pressure. Yeah, I get that. I do get that. And I'll be interested to see what United's first choice team is when everybody is available. And also, it's funny that we've reached a stage where we're excited about seeing centre-backs playing in the Premier League. You know, I like this. I like this new era.
Yeah, well, Raphael Varane, we may see at some point today. Let's hear from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This is what he's had to say about the latest signing.
It's no secret that we were close, or we were in there when he left to Real Madrid 10 years ago. Sir Alex was there speaking to them, and we were close. And ever since, his performances on the pitch, his demeanour, behaviour off the pitch, it tells me that that's a Man United player, and that we could manage to convince him to have the feeling of Man United. I think that's been in his heart ever since he went to Real Madrid as well, that he did have a little bit of a feeling for Man United, and we definitely have had feelings for him for many, many years. And the Champions League wins he's had, the World Cup wins, you know, everything about him is class. And he's a defender who's quick, strong, good in the air. He can play with both feet. So everything about him has been impressive.
Curtis and Nedum as the two members of the centre-backs club. How excited should United be about that?
After you, Curtis, you lead the way.
Well, I think what Ollie said there, you know, the 10 years that they tried to get him 10 years ago, and since he's been at Real Madrid, he's pretty much won everything. He's looked like a Rolls Royce. He's a player that I've liked for years, and was hoping that one day he'd come to the Premier League, because I really do rate him and think he's top drawer, and I think he will finally be the permanent partner for Harry Maguire, because I think that's what they've been searching for. I think you always need to build partnerships. I understand with big squads and a lot of games going on, you can rotate one in and out here and there. But I think for Manchester United, if you get that partnership with Maguire and Varane, and then build everything around that, I think you've got the makings of something good, because they're both top draw, and I'm excited to see it, because I think, like I say, Varane coming to this league, he's a good footballer, but he's also physical, he's quick, and I think he'll be up to the pace of the game straight away. So unfortunately we don't see him today. I don't think we will see him from the bench, because I don't think it'll be a situation where they're hanging on, but I'm excited to see him in a Man U shirt soon.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that totally. I think if this can be the long-term partnership in terms of him and Maguire, then that's great for United. But then even looking outside that, Wan-Bissaka seems to be a regular starter. Luke Shaw's a regular starter. So it seems they found a back four that they really want to play week in, week out in an attempt to try and win something. So it is promising. And then even then, like, we look at Varane, we've been speaking about Varane for so long. He feels like he should be early 30s to mid 30s, and then he sees 28 years of age with possibly the best years ahead to come. So, you know, that's a great sign for United, in my opinion. And as soon as he gets out there, I'm sure he'll keep his position.
It's one of those things with United and centre-back partnerships, Karen, that the inevitable comparison comes up is Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic. So I'm not going to ask you if this can be on that quality, but it is the kind of partnership that United fans have been crying out for, I guess.
Well, yeah, and especially when Varane says he looked up to both of them.
Yes.
You know, and it's ideal, and that's the partnership they're after. I think they'll complement each other really well, Maguire and Varane, in terms of Maguire will be front-footed and aggressive, similar to how Ramos was when he was at Madrid, and Varane will drop off. He likes to defend the space and then step in. So they'll be really good complement each other, and that's similar how to Vidic and Rio were. And I don't think Manchester United ever filled that void of when both of them went, and I think he'll come in and be similar to Rio, technically good, defend the space, and Maguire be the one like Vidic, be getting people's faces, aggressive, nipping at their ankles, and kind of the physical presence out of the two of them. Not saying that Varane isn't as well, but he's probably a little bit passive in his defending because his game intelligence so good that he just steps in and reads it so well. Best defenders don't have to defend, and Varane for me doesn't ever have to do that. So the partnership's going to be brilliant. I'm really looking forward to it whenever they do feature. But it's funny how, he's coming in last week. I thought Lindelof did really well. So it's difficult then for Solskjaer to say, well, I don't really want to change your winning side. But the best thing for Solskjaer is he's got competition for places, lots of different options. And you asked earlier about Martial. I do think he's under a bit of pressure. Statistically, Man United have been really poor. I think the joint second lowest percentage of attacks right-sided. So I think Martial is under a bit of pressure if he's going to play on there today. Probably him and Lindelof will be feeling the heat a little bit with the players coming in, but this is Manchester United and you expect that.
Hey, Kaz, so for the way you described Varane there in terms of how he played for Real Madrid, do you think he can actually stay just like that in England, or do you think he'll have to change his game a little bit because of the style of play and so on?
I just think he'll stay as he is. I think he's that good. I think where it will help Manchester United is I think they'll have confidence. I think if you watch them at Madrid, they tried to press and they weren't very good at that, and actually he had to be quite individual in how he defended, because he had to be so smart, because the press from the front was horrendous, and then he had to become so intelligent of how he defended, because at times him and Ramos were just isolated. They're so gung-ho, and I think Man United will want to be attack, but I think he'll have a little bit more structure, better structure in front of him, but I don't think he'll change much. He might little tweaks in that, but he's been this player for the last 10 years. You don't change who you are overnight, and Manchester United have signed him for that reason. So I don't think he's going to change at all. And he's been against top players all his career. He's trained with everyone at Real Madrid pretty much, for years and years on end. So I think you'll see the same Varane.
What do you look for in a centre-back partnership as well, beyond the way, Nathan, that they will physically complement each other?
I think I say this a lot, but footballing IQ, if you can find somebody who thinks about the game in the same way that you do, then you know that every time you make a move, it's not just independent of other people. Like, everything is connected. So if something doesn't go well, somebody's covering. Same way you cover other people, they cover you. The same way that if you're going to try and block a shot this way, they're going to cover this space elsewhere, and so on. Because football itself, you can have great individuals on the side, but if they don't work together in twos, threes, and impacts and so on, you're not a good team. You literally are just a bunch of individuals. So for me, as a centre-back, or as a former centre-back, you would want to be with somebody who gets it, as I say, who contests the same way that you do, reads the game in a similar way to how you do. And then, as I say, whenever a striker's up against you, the striker's up against two of you as opposed to just one, because he knows that should he beat one of you, the other person's there in waiting. He's going to make it as hard for you as possible.
Nathan, did you have that? Who was your partner in crime in essence? Where you had that telepathic relationship. Did you have that, or did you have to work at it?
Do you know what? It depended on the style of play for the team that I was at. But in times when it was like a dogged sort of battle, the one I enjoyed being with the most was Richard Dunn. Like, Curtis, did you play with Dunny as well?
A couple of games, yeah. Not many. Like,
he is an absolute monster to be playing alongside, and the way he sets the tone, you go with him. Like, he's making it as hard as possible for 90 minutes straight against the person that you're up against. So wherever he's going, you're sensing, well, I'm going to go and do that, I'm going to cover that. And it's that sort of desire, as was the case with a few other people I played with, to do everything that you can to stop the ball from going into your goal. Like, it seems really simple, but there are lots of defenders who don't seem to value that as highly as maybe being able to hit a diagonal ball or something like that.
Well, look at Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah,
he loves it.
Defenders who love defending. There's nothing wrong with
it.
Well,
to be fair, let me take that back. Let me dial that back. The Curtis loves defending. I like upsetting people. Yeah, I like. But there is something to it. That's your job.
So you two would have been the perfect.
Well, we played together. We played together and I enjoyed it. Yeah, like that's
brilliant.
But like myself and Curtis, we were coming through for the England under-21s around the same sort of time. And ahead of us, there was Anton Fernandes, Michael Dawson and stuff like that, and they formed a really good partnership. But if I was ever playing with Curtis, you knew what time it was. We're going to war together to stop the 9, the 10 from scoring a goal against us, whether it's a case of making a tackle, contesting, dropping off at certain times, stepping up at the right time, contesting every header. And that's joyous, because then, as a defender, you don't really get a lot of joy in games. But when your teammate makes a big tackle or stops someone in their tracks, you go over, give them a little tap, and it's like, yeah, we did that. That's our moment. Might not appear on Match of the Day, but...
So, here's my question then, Curtis. Does it make a difference when there's a language barrier? Like, Raphael Varane speak a bit of English, but not a lot of English. Everything Nathan was talking about there is something that...
Does Harry Maguire not speak French?
I don't know the answer to that.
I'm going to confirm a no.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But what I say is, I think it's football understanding. It's understanding, like Nathan said, it's the flow of another player. You can play with a really good defender, but they might be a really good individual defender. If they go for headers and win headers, yes, that's good. If they go for tackles, win tackles, yes, that's good. But if they don't help you, don't cover you, don't communicate with you, then it is difficult. But I think in football, as much as the language barrier is going to be difficult, yes, for detailed things, left, right, step up, drop off, coming over the shoulder, dropping deep, or whatever you need to say is going to be easy enough. And I think as long as they can get that relationship where, like I say, for me, I always felt most comfortable with not necessarily always the best individual defender, but the person that I know is going to go to war with me and look after me as much as I'm going to look after him. I think that makes a massive difference to you as a centre-half, rather than sometimes politics. The centre-half will look after themselves and not be bothered if you make the mistake because someone else is looking to try and get in the team.
Yeah,
and that's not what you want to be part of.
Yeah, 100% well said. And that's the thing as well. Your partnership should be able to make you better. You know, it's not a case of trying to take anything away from you. And also, I'm sure Harry Maguire will say à droite, à gauche. No? Isn't that what they say?
That's right and left. Is that it?
Yeah, that's all you need to know, United. Yeah. You'd be like,
just Googled again.
Je ne comprends pas. Excusez-moi.
Oh, very good, very good. By the way, Karen gave you an open goal there when she said, who were your great partners.
Well, listen, I was never a great goal scorer, so I'm not going to take these tap-ins or open goals. So yeah, I'll just say Curtis. Curtis was great, ever.
Fine.
Yeah.
Nader Manua apparently is with us all season on Premier League Sunday.
Allegedly.
Curtis Davis and Karen Carney are all with us. We've got 40 minutes to go until kick-off at St Mary's. We've got a special interview that Nader and I have done with Ralph Hasenhüttl all about James Ward-Prowse, who signed his new 5-year contract this week, so we will hear that. We're going to talk a bit more about United now. Really interesting piece in The Athletic this week about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recreating a great United front three of the past, namely that between Rooney, Ronaldo and Tevez, written by The Athletic's Manchester United reporter Carl Anker, who's joined us. Afternoon, Carl.
Good afternoon.
How are we doing? All right?
I'm doing very well. It's quite nice here on the South Coast.
Good. Well, that piece I think will have excited quite a lot of United fans, so explain how that's going to work.
Right. So one thing I've always been thinking about Solskjaer is what was his sort of approach. We've got loads of top six managers that have their own version of football. So you've got, Tuchel ball and Guardiola ball and whatnot. So what's Ole ball? And one thing that seemed to be quite apparent from about November onwards was he was trying to get a front three or a trident that was full of rapid, interchanging, fluid movements in the front three. And I was very curious as to why. And then if you go through the archives, two things become quite apparent in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's United career, other than, the goal in Barcelona. One was he spent the majority of the 2002-03 seasons playing on the right-hand side. And two, his first sort of coaching thing he did was serving as the forwards coach in the United team of 07-08, working with Rooney, Ronaldo and Tevez. So more and more, as you look at this United team, you can see their front three doesn't really have a fixed position. You've sort of got Marcus Rashford, who admits he grew up watching loads of Ronaldo and Rooney clips, who can sort of work like Wayne Rooney, a selfless attacker who can move on the left, on the right and up front sometimes. You've got Mason Greenwood, who likes to press sometimes, but is probably more of a out-and-out striker than Marcus Rashford, so he sort of fits into that Carlos Tevez archetype. And then you've got Jadon Sancho, who, for all intents and purposes, is the Cristiano Ronaldo of this model, who is nominally a right forward, but can go on the left, can play in the middle, and can go up top every now and then during passages of play. So I think that might be the ultimate objective of Manchester United. That is one possible future United could have, where it is Rashford, Greenwood, and Jadon Sancho just trying to blow teams away.
Are they going to be able to do that with the lineup that they have today, though? So as soon as you change it, Carl, because Martial is starting this afternoon, does that mean you can't do that, or does he fit into that fluidity as well?
I think so. So after the victory over Leeds United, I had a little conversation with Solskjaer, and I said, when you've got a player like Greenwood, when do you add new parts of his game, when ultimately you want him to be a striker? To which he responded, who told you I wanted to make him a striker? And he said, he said he only viewed Edinson Cavani as the only sixth and number 9. Every attacker they've got. So Martial, Rashford, Sancho, Greenwood, even players like Anthony Elanga, and I think if you look further down, even a player like Ahmad can play on the left, can play on the right, and can do a job up front. I think Solskjaer wants to create a positionless front three in all of his United teams going forward.
With that front three, how do you think he has to set up behind that? Because with looking at, say, the weekend just gone, with Fernandes making so many runs in behind and so on, would Fernandes, for example, be asked to maybe sit off a bit more and leave the front three to be making most of the damage through the fluidity, or is there a scope for that position as well?
I think there's a scope for a Fab Four against teams that want to play with a higher line. So as you saw again, Leeds United want to play with that man-marking formation, and Bruno Fernandes gave Robin Koch twisted blood. If you look at one of the goals where Lindelof plays the long ball over the top, that comes about from Greenwood and Bruno Fernandes swapping roles on the last line of defence. So there will be times where Brent Fernandes will push up and it'll be a fantastic thought. Almost, if you wheel it all the way back to 07-08, there were times where Paul Scholes went forward a bit more to join that attack as well. So I think there's scope. I think during games where they're against deep defences, that's when the midfield players come into play more. The Paul Pogba's, Bruno Fernandes, and indeed Scott McTominay and Fred. I think what was interesting against Leeds United was Scott McTominay kept it really simple. It was 2 touches and then play it forward as soon as possible.
I think maybe, do you reckon Ollie's going to be able to turn Fernandes into his Ji-sung Park? Because if you want to play with that front three, you're going to need someone running back as well. So I think that he was a big part for that then. And I don't know if Fernandes quite will give him that same role. So
I think if you want a wide player who can track back and is very good at interpreting space, there's Daniel James. Now, we've already seen, there's been a lot of rumour and conjecture about Daniel James' future, but Solskjaer this week has said that he's going to stay because he tracks back. And I think if we look at the great Ji-sung Park performances, it was very much the fact that he was willing to put the services of the team ahead of his own needs. I think there's no one better at Manchester United at protecting Aaron Wan-Bissaka than Dan James as well. So I don't think there's a correct analogue or a 100% analogue for every single player in the 07-08, but if you squint and tilt your head a little bit, the parts are there, more so than it ever have been at Manchester United since Ferguson retired, really.
Go on, Ed.
So with a Daniel James then, if in theory he could play alongside this front three, what's the formation? I'm just trying to figure that out in my mind.
I think what you'll see is, and what you've already seen in Manchester United games in parts, is when they try to progress the ball from their penalty area to the next penalty area, they basically play in a 3-1-6. So it's not so much the starting lineup, but it's what happens during particular passages of play. So what you'll probably see today against Southampton is when United get the ball on the edge of their own box, the Man United will probably drop deep and be the third centre-back as Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof split. You'll probably have Paul Pogba as the single pivot in the middle, and then you've got both fullbacks in Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw joining the front three in attack. And then it'll become a case of matches covers, Pogba's your one, doing all the passing to all of these 6 players in attack, and that will be something you'll see United do a lot more. This is also how a number of teams in Europe play. Real Madrid use this, Liverpool use this, England used this in parts during the Euros as well.
I feel like it's not going to be long until we see all of that front three unleashed. Not necessarily today, though. Jadon Sancho is on the bench again. Carl, thank you very much. Speak to you soon. Enjoy the game.
Thank you very much. You have a great Sunday.
The Athletic's Carl Anker, who's at St Mary's, and so are we for full commentary. We've got just over half an hour to go until Southampton against Manchester United. Curtis Davis, Nader Manua with us. Karen Carney and commentator Robin Cowan are at the ground. We should say as well, Robin, that it's very important. This is United's first game since that sad news about Dennis Law being diagnosed with dementia.
It is, yes. So it will be an emotional time, especially for Manchester United fans, but it will be an emotional time for every football fan. Dennis Law, the man who has not 1 but 2 statues at Old Trafford. He seems to be the latest player in what seems like a long line of brilliant ex-footballers who have been diagnosed with dementia. He said in a statement in the week he wants to address it now while he understands what is happening, because he knows there will be days where he doesn't understand. He also said he's determined to continue watching United at Old Trafford. He was there in their opening game against Leeds last week, and he's trying to be positive. And today we've seen a really moving statement from the Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, saying United are his family and they will help his family to look after him. And he went on to say he hopes the new guidelines on heading will make a difference in trying to decrease the instances of dementia in the coming years.
Thanks, Robin. This, of course, was followed late last night with the news that the former Liverpool and England midfielder Terry McDermott is in the early stages of dementia. He told the Liverpool club website, "I've got to get on with it, and I will. It's the way I've been brought up. Nothing has come to me easily. I'm not frightened of taking it on. And also, as we've seen, there are a lot of former players in a worse state than me. Battling is second nature. The worst thing was, until my condition was diagnosed, you don't know what's going on. The number of ex-players being diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's is frightening." There have been a number of studies on this. 2019 study by Professor Willie Stewart found that former footballers were about 3.5 times more likely to die of neurodegenerative brain diseases than the general population. Curtis, how much do you think about this? How much is it discussed within football?
To say it's discussed within football, I think it's when the next case happens, the conversation starts again. So it'll probably be spoken about tomorrow and the next couple of days in the changing room. And it's usually obviously when the rule changes are starting to come in about so many high impact headers and things like that in training. It's obviously a very difficult thing because, you know, we used to hear the things about back in the day it was because of the old heavy leather balls and stuff like that. That's why these players have dimension, but obviously the science is saying differently. So I think as a player defender that is renowned for heading the ball, it's a big part of my game. Would have I had a career without that? I'm not too sure. But it's something you need to take seriously, but take advice as to what you can do to help minimise the impact and maybe sometimes if you get an early test to see if you've got any signs of it, maybe.
I think this is a really good topic, actually. I think it's really, really good because as far as the science being there, that's good, but it's the way that you can sort of bring it into the game, because this is something which, as Curtis has alluded to there, is a fundamental within the game in terms of how we see it. So you can talk about change and trying to change for something that's in the future, but there'll be so much resistance because it goes against what the traditional game setup is. I think if in 10 years' time we watch a Premier League game where more people are trying not to go for headers, people say, oh, the game's gone, because they're not trying to do that anymore, even though there's a health benefit to it. So I don't know, like, you can see youngsters and stuff coming through who are having less headers and stuff like that, and I get it, I'm with that, I agree with it 100%, but there's something about the men's game where I think it'll be very hard to shed your perception of it, because for dozens of teams, from amateur to professional to wherever, even hundreds of teams, heading is a significant part of the game. And as far as I see it, you know, I could go whole weeks in training without heading the ball, but come game day, the expectation is if you don't go up for those headers, you don't deserve to be out there. So how do you change that mentality?
I think that's a big thing that a lot of football fans are worried about, is the fact that if you don't coach heading in training when those young kids are coming through from 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, then when it actually comes to them getting into men's football, things like they've never done any sustained heading training, so it's their instincts rather than actually knowing how to head a ball. So I think sometimes, you know, that's what people's argument against it will be, but we totally understand that things do need to be protected and need to be changed, but it's a very, very difficult subject when you, like I say, are we going to have underhead height for football?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So, and
even, let's be clear as well here, Steve, there are tons of managers out there who say a centre-back isn't a proper centre-back until they've got a cut on their head and stuff like this. And they say it as like a bit of a joke, but it's very serious, because if they look at you and say that if they look at you and you see you don't have any cuts or graves or whatever, they'll call you soft. If they call you soft, you won't play. If you won't play, you're probably not going to have a long career. So at the end of the day, like, it's being led by that sort of perception of what the game is and what's sort of required in that particular position.
So you need to change the perception, because Robin mentioned the new guidelines, which are restricting players to 10 higher force headers a week at training.
Across all levels? Or from academies?
So across all, including amateur football.
Okay. But then come game day, it can be whatever. Because again, that's another side of it, where you might play in some games where the emphasis is on keeping the ball on the deck and having possession. But I've played in games, unfortunately, where I've had more headers than I've made passes. But that's just the nature of that game in that particular instance. But try saying to somebody at that stage, well, I've had my quota of headers for the day, so as a consequence, you know, you should probably check me out, or we shouldn't do this. I think it's one of those things, for a purist, you don't want to see it. But in the grand scheme of things, when we talk about the reality of the game itself, then something probably does need to come. But the two sets of people having a conversation together, it's probably going to be like Varane and Maguire, one speaking French, one speaking English, if you know what I mean.
I think the way the game's moving for centre-halves anyway, in the fact that we laud ball-playing, excellent footballing centre-halves over players that are willing to put their bodies on the line, head balls, tackles, blocks, everything. I think it might be the right time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if
sorry, pal. Wasn't Maguire bought for Manchester United because of his aerial duels that he won statistically, and his presence on set plays, you know, and we just did the Euros, and how massive part of teams' DNAs is set plays and, you know, corners and getting direct first phases, second phases. So, you know, it's still very much, you know, it is part of the game. And if you're signing massive acquisitions with your team based on those stats as well, you know, it's going to be hard, isn't it? Like, how do you manage that? And then if you take it out of training, then you're not as robust, but then that robustness causes the issues anyway. So it's so difficult, and it's just not a nice situation. And you know, we just pray for everyone that's been affected that they get the support and care.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you see nowadays. Sorry, that so many teams have got, as you said, Kaz, so many teams have got set play coaches. So if you've got set play coaches that want to work on this different set play every week because they do something different, and they come up with a genius idea every week. So if you go into a set piece practice, how are you meant to do that within 10 headers? You can't do it 10 times and think you're going to perfect it. So that's where it becomes difficult. Are you making the movements but not heading the ball? I don't really know what to do. Like I say, it's a really sensitive subject and a subject that needs to be taken serious. But as Kaz said, the set pieces are such a big part of the game. Being able to clear your box, Harry Maguire, as good as he is a footballer, as good as he is a normal defender, he's a big 6'5" defender that can head a ball. It's all just very, very difficult, and like I say, I think the more research that goes into it, the better, because we'll all start getting the clearer picture to understand.
Yeah, and your position is unique in that you're the one of the group of us who is still playing the game. So, you know, the latest research was as recently as this summer. That was that the risk is highest amongst defenders, 5 times more likely to end up with dementia than non-footballers. You know, we had Professor Willie Stewart saying he thinks that football should be sold with a health warning about dementia. And then we have the recommendations restricting players, as I said, to 10 higher force headers. Do you think that message has filtered through? Like, if we came to watch you train next week, would we see something that felt different to what's come before or not yet?
I think it all depends on your coach. I think, I can talk for our football club, we want to play football on the ground. So we don't really set up to do any kind of long crosses and clearing it and things like that. We don't really do a lot of that kind of stuff. And so for our football club, that is a thing. But as I said, if you're going up against a side that maybe use a long throw and they want to practice their long throw, and you need to try and get on in it and score those headers in games and stuff like that, it's very difficult to do that without heading a ball. So that's kind of where I stand. But I think in training, like Nadim said, I think you could really get away with not heading the ball, because, like I say, the pitches are that short. You're usually playing more 8-a-sides kind of games. So there's never that need for a deep cross coming in where you need to full impact head it away. If you're heading it, it's only kind of little soft headers down to your other players or back to the keeper or something like that. So again, very, very difficult, but in training, I think you can get away with it. But in the game, as Nadim said, you can't hide. You have to put your body on the line, put your head on the line, and that's what wins your games and keeps you clean sheets.
Curtis Davis, Nadim Manua, Karen Carney, Robin Cowan, all with us on Premier League Sunday. We've got just over 20 minutes to go until kick-off at St Mary's. Southampton versus Manchester United is our first commentary. We're going to hear shortly from the Southampton manager, Ralph Hasenhüttl. We'll keep you up to date with Wolves against Spurs. That also kicks off at 2. Harry Kane is back but on the bench. And then we'll bring you Arsenal versus Chelsea in full at 4:30. We will check in with our golf correspondent Ian Carter on the final day of the Women's Open after the news on 5 Live with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
NATO says at least 20 people have died in the past week in and around Kabul airport, where thousands have been desperately trying to leave Afghanistan after the Taliban took over. The US government has ordered the emergency use of commercial aircraft, including from United and American Airlines, to move Afghan evacuees once they've flown out of Kabul. United Nations agencies are warning world leaders that Afghanistan is facing an absolute catastrophe, including widespread hunger and economic collapse. That's unless an urgent humanitarian effort is agreed following the US-led withdrawal. A government scheme is being set up to find out how much natural protection people develop after becoming infected with COVID-19. Home blood tests will be offered to thousands of adults who get positive PCR results to measure their levels of antibodies. And 5 people are being treated in hospital after 2 vehicles crashed into a crowd at a car meet in Lincoln last night. Police say the vehicles were travelling at high speed at the time.
There's a big group of people that feel like hip-hop isn't for them.
For the love of hip-hop with Ramesh Ranganathan.
Basically, it's all about why I love hip-hop and why you should too. We'll have everything from golden era bangers
Don't believe the hype.
to the modern day greats and everything in between.
Blame it on my juice, baby.
If you were about to go to a dinner party and they were going to be talking about hip-hop, you listen to this show and you can turn up and people will go, oh my gosh, did you hear how Andrew knew everything about Run the Jewels?
For the love of hip-hop with Ramesh Ranganathan.
Listen now on the BBC Sounds app.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
2 more goals to tell you about in the Scottish Premiership. I was about to tell you that Hibs look like they're on their way to their 3rd win from 3 games because they were leading Dundee by 2-1, but Dundee have just equalised. Paul McGowan with the goal, 7 minutes to go. Before that game, Hibs the only team in the Scottish Premiership with a 100% record. They've still got time to get the winner though. Final day of the Women's Open at Carnoustie, the last major of the year. Let's bring in our golf correspondent, Ian Carter. Ian, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Steve.
Stacked leaderboard. Are we going to get that grandstand finish?
Well, it all points towards it, doesn't it? We've got a couple of Scandinavians at the top. Anna Nordqvist, a proven major winner at 9 under par. Nana Kirst Madsen pushing hard for a Solheim Cup debut, also at 9 under. And then the likes of Nelly Korda on the fringes, Lexi Thompson at 7 under par as well. And then the romance of Louise Duncan, the Scottish amateur, who is only 2 shots off the lead, and Georgia Hall, who's just about to get underway in search of her 2nd British Open title. So all the ingredients are there.
When Carnoustie wants to, it can cause you a heck of a lot of problems, particularly when there's a bit of inclement weather around.
Yes, it can, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yes, the course can bite you. You can get into the deep pot bunkers, but that will be largely your own undoing today. Once again, very little wind and the best conditions of the week because the clouds have melted away. There's lovely sunshine on the links. It's plenty warm enough as well, only the gentlest of breezes. So perfect scoring conditions, especially given the heavy rain that we had yesterday, which has softened the fairways and the greens. It means the players can be aggressive, and it may well take aggressive golf to win this. Someone from the pack, Alexi Thompson and Nelly Korda, if they can get the putter on fire, they could bolt through that pack. There were 14 players within 3 shots of the lead heading into this final round, so I'm expecting aggressive golf to be the brand of the game that will win this title.
I found myself a bit earlier today thinking about Justin Rose as an amateur, nearly winning the Open Championship. And the reason that crossed my mind is there's a great story around Louise Duncan.
There is, and she could win. Well, she can't win £640,000. I mean, it was the big story coming into this, the inflated prize fund. How ironic would it be if the champion were then unable to take the spoils? When she was asked about it yesterday, she said, "Oh, don't mention that." She said, "I'll be crying if all she gets is the trophy." It's one of those absurdities. She got into this field by winning the Women's Amateur Championship, so she's come through the amateur route. So ineligible for the prize money, but more than eligible for what would be an absolutely glorious story. You have to go back to 1967. Catherine Lacoste, who won the US Open as an amateur. Actually, the first Women's Open was won by an amateur as well back in 1981, but that was long before this became a major in 2001. So it really would be an extraordinary story if she were to get it done. She has played brilliantly so far. Yesterday, 68, finished with a birdie. Really loud roars echoing across the golf course when that went in. She didn't hear them. She was so much in the zone. She said she was going to watch the highlights on BBC Two just to take them in late last night. So it's a great story. It's asking an awful lot with such a stacked leaderboard, but you never know. She's looking very composed on the range at the moment.
Thank you, Ian. That's our correspondent, Ian Carter. We've got live commentary with our team of Ian, Sarah Mulkerrins and professional Sophie Powell on 5 Live Sports Extra. The commentary gets underway at at 3 p.m. Our first Premier League commentary of the day is 17 minutes away from St Mary's Southampton versus Manchester United. Great story for Southampton fans this week. Their captain, James Ward-Prowse, who's been linked with Aston Villa earlier in the summer, has signed a new 5-year contract. So Nedum and myself spoke to his manager, Ralph Hasenhüttl, to talk about why his captain is so important.
Everybody knows about his strength with his maybe one of the best free kickers in the world, definitely. His technique is outstanding, but his value for us is more than only taking a few free kicks. By the way, we don't get enough around the box, so then I'll score more, I think. But he's also with his professionalism and his intense way of playing football, something like a role model for our way of playing football, and this is why he's so important for us.
And earlier on in your managerial career, were there other players who had the same sort of history at their clubs as you find with James Ward-Prowse now?
Yeah, I mean, you normally always have in your team one or two of these players. They are super professional, do everything 100%, work every day, are always positive, everybody loves them. I think you have in every team you have players like this, maybe on a different level. In the Premier League it's even more. I had mentally similar players, but they haven't been footballing so good because otherwise they would maybe also have played in the Premier League. So sometimes one of these parts for the quality is missing, and then you end up in, I don't know where I have managed in League 3 or League 2 in Germany. When you have everything, then you make it to the top, and then you deserve to be there.
You know, when a new player comes into the dressing room, a new signing, Ralph, do you lean on James to be the guy who can tell them, both with the way he plays and the way he talks, what it means to be a Southampton player?
I think this happens automatically. I don't have to tell him to do this. He knows what he has to do. He's very far in his behaviors for being a captain for this team, and has some good bodies around him. They help him to do this. We have a few very experienced guys in the team who he loves to talk to. Ori, for example, Longy, Theo Walcott. We have a few really experienced guys now, and we have, I must say in a moment, a fantastic atmosphere. It's always easy in the preseason. Yes, you don't have a Premier League game but can lose. Everybody is hopeful to be part of the first team on the first match day. So it's always a very good atmosphere in the preseason. We have to keep this up, keep this high, and therefore we need Prowse to go in front.
Yeah, I totally agree. In preseason, the atmosphere is always a lot easier for it to be great. So what is James like, say, during times in the season when things aren't going so well? What type of leader is he in those moments?
He's a type of leader who tries to be a 100% professional player on the pitch. I think this is what is the difference. I think meanwhile between players, they are taking the lead. They take the lead on the pitch. They show that they run more, they fight more. They don't need to talk so much. Talking in the pitch is not good because it costs you air what you need to run, And it's more important sometimes to trust the automatism we are creating. If something is not working, yes, he's maybe the first person I contact when I want to change something. But everybody has to take the lead on the pitch. Everybody has to be leading player when it's about to win games. And for him or for everybody, it's important that they show the effort and the 100% commitment to the team.
Is he the perfect captain, Ralph? Does he embody everything that you want in your captain?
No, I think he's still not a super old player. He's still young and he still has to learn. I think I like the balance he has found of not criticizing somebody, but speaking to him I like him sitting every evening on a different table to speak one time with the young lads or then with this ones. There's not really a group he belongs to. He tries to split it up, also with the foreign players. So the behavior, I think, is a quite good one. And finally, everybody respects him, yes.
Really interested, Ralph, in what you said there about James Ward-Prowse going between the different tables to talk to different groups of players, to not have sort of cliques in the dressing room. Presumably that's just something he did on his own without you having to tell him. So it must be nice just to sit there and watch him do it.
Yeah, you can be sure that we see things, or we are looking for those things without speaking about them. But I like to see in the moment also the commitment we have here. I think this is always this must be our biggest strength, that we are better committed, better atmosphere maybe than other clubs, because we have our limits as a club and we must do something a little bit different. And it's always nice to see, nice to watch when you sit around. We are talking about that. It's not only him. We have in the hotel, or when you eat in the training ground, never the same table all the time. We change all the time. And there's no group, or it's always separate or something. With a few French players, I have made experience in Leipzig that we have always a French connection, and then the rest of the players, that was not good, I think. But here also the French players are mixing. And this is important, I think. Yeah, I mean, you need everybody. Not everybody has to be best buddy to the other one, but it's always helpful when you are talking to everybody.
That's the Southampton manager, Ralph Hasenhüttl, Curtis Davis, Nader Manua, Karen Carney, all with us on Premier League Sunday. I think, Karen, if I was a Southampton fan, I mean, you don't need to be told how important it is to keep him, but that really underlined it.
Oh, massive. He's a talisman, a person you go to. He's so instrumental, and they've lost a lot of experienced players. You know, Bertrand's gone, Vestergaard's gone, Danny Ings is gone. So you've got to look to someone that's been here a long time, knows how to grind out results. And it's not been easy for him. I remember he actually wasn't featuring when the manager first came in. He said, "What have I got to do?" And you need to be more aggressive. Bang, and he goes and does it. The ultimate professional. So he's so key for him, and he'll be massive today as well.
Nathan?
No, it was good. It was good speaking to the manager about him, because you could see, like, it's a squad game. It's a squad game, but you can see he has a soft spot for him, and all those things which he was saying in terms of how he's like, what he's like as a person when things are going well and things are going badly. They're the type of things which you do want to have in your dressing room, especially for the people who have the most influence. Because I'll be honest, in my time, as is the case with lots of other people, if there's any sort of toxic environment in there and that's being led, that's coming from the leaders within that, it can be a very, very tough place to play. But it seems at Southampton they've got the right mix and the right person in charge of leading the culture.
I think another thing that Hasenhüttl said is that if ever there's anything he wants to implement into the group or anything he wants to change, he goes to Ward-Prowse first. So I think he's probably just as important for the manager as he is for the group. And the manager maybe feels comfort in having him still there. Obviously, don't get me wrong, he's a very good player, first and foremost, and that's the reason why they wanted to retain his services. But that side of it as well, where you have a player that you can literally lean on like one of your staff, because he's been part of the furniture for that long, and you still have that trust in him, and he can go and relay that amongst the squad. It must be massive for Ralph Hasenhüttl, as well as, like I say, James Ward-Prowse being there and being a leader for those players in the change room as well.
One thing I absolutely love, we're just looking at the pictures of Molineux as well. And Wolves, of course, have got fans in, and Spurs are the visitors. We've just seen Ben Whittaker, the British boxing medalist, who said, for people will remember, he said, "I want to meet the mayor of Wolverhampton and I want to wear his chain." Well, I'm delighted to say, Nathan,
yeah.
He is wearing the chain.
Very happy doing it as well. He was giving a little jig in that box level. Things you love to see, eh?
Yeah. And honestly, more importantly, Curtis, these are Wolves fans who get to see Raul Jimenez. Started last week, starts at Molineux today. Had that horrific skull fracture back in November. This is his first chance to be in front of those fans again.
Yeah, it's delightful to see him back. You know, after that, he spoke about he has the support from his family. He could have ended his career, but he's ready to go again. And I think when you've got that commitment from somebody that they want to keep going after horrendous injury like that, and to have the fans back behind him, they'll be hoping he finds his best form again, because they're going to be desperate today to find openings, but you wouldn't like it to fall to anyone better than Raul Jimenez.
Yeah, it's great to see him back on just on a human level. And then from the footballing side of things, how about your first game back being against your old manager?
Well, yeah,
that's gotta feel nice if you get the result, eh?
Well,
and then when Kane goes, you'll sign him.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's a massive deal for Bruno Lage today, though, isn't it, Curtis? I mean, if you think you're coming up against the guy who was poached by your opponents, what a way to kind of announce yourself on the scene that would be.
Yeah, it would be. Obviously, listen, Nuno's history at Wolves is massive, so he's done a lot of good things for a football club, so he can't compete with that yet, but he'll be looking to build his own legacy. And as you said, if he could get one over on him today, it'd be a massive result. But I'm not too confident that Spurs won't win.
Oh, why is that?
I just believe Spurs will beat Wolves. I think Wolves aren't the Wolves they used to be. They've lost a lot of big players. I know Jimenez is back, but I think Spurs are going to have too much for him.
This guy's so anti-North London, isn't he?
I said Spurs are going to have too much for them. I'm not anti-North London.
Oh, sorry.
Listen, you know Nadem better than I do, Curtis.
No,
so
but he's
you know what he's like.
No, he wants to get Kane out as well.
He's trying to come up with something against me now. See?
I know.
I said I thought Chelsea would beat Arsenal, and I said Tottenham would beat Wolves.
It's okay. Sorry. To be fair, I'll take it back. You're a Spurs fan. I'll take it back. Sorry, my fault.
It's been one of those weird days as well, Nadem, where we've definitely spent more time talking about people who aren't playing.
Well, yeah, there is that.
And Harry Kane is on the bench. But in terms of the team that's starting, Tanganga and Oliver Skipp were two of the really big positives out of that brilliant win over Man City.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Especially for me, Tanganga, because I saw him play at the Etihad last season when I think Spurs lost, but he was very front foot with his approach. And I think for those City players who he comes up against, if you give them time and space, you could be in for a very, very long day. But he took the onus to go out there and try and affect it. And he did. I think he set the tone defensively. The people around him reacted to it. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't a perfect performance by Spurs, nor was it a brilliant one by Man City and whatever. But as they left the field, they deserved it, and it was due to performances like his own.
Right, I can tell you that the teams are just making their way out of the tunnel at Molineux. We probably won't get much of a noise first of all, because it's Tottenham that are coming out, but in a few seconds Wolves will be back at Molineux with fans. They'll welcome their captain Conor Cody, and I'm sure there'll be a roar for Raul Jimenez too. Sahel Sahi's there.
Yes, Steve, Molineux is jumping with excitement and anticipation as the two sets of players head out of the black extended tunnel and into a cauldron of pyrotechnics and dance music. It's close to capacity, 31,000, and it's the Wolves fans' turn to welcome their team after an absence of 17 months. Hugo Lloris, who is leading the visitors Tottenham out, he's making his 300th Premier League appearance, a club record, and his manager Nuno Espirito Santo, he's arriving back to Molineux after 4 years spent here at this famous old football club. He led them out of the Championship and into the Premier League, where he led the club to 2 top 7 finishes and European football. He's there in the tunnel, just received a hug from Bruno Lage. There's a banner displaying saying thank you, Nuno. He did really well here. People forget he finished 7th and 13th, and also Europa League football here at Molineux. Wolves versus Tottenham, we're about to get underway.
And Harry Kane obviously is headed straight for the substitutes bench, but just before he finished the warm-up, he was speaking to Spurs fans and signing a couple of autographs and posing for a couple of photos as well. So Sahel will keep us up to date on what's happening in that game between Wolves and Tottenham Hotspur. We've had Curtis Davis and Nader Manua with us on Premier League Sunday. Thank you very much, gents. Pleasure as always.
Just hopefully see you at some point in the future, pal.
Well, if you start, bigging me up a bit more, yeah.
I love Steve Crossman. See you in a couple of weeks.
I do too.
You can both come back. Nader Manua and Curtis Davis. The teams are also out at St Mary's. It's our first commentary of this Premier League Sunday. Southampton versus Manchester United. And Karen Carney is alongside Robin Cowan.
Thank you, Steve. It's good to know you hold so much sway. We'll keep that in mind. Both teams are out here at St Mary's, and like at Molineux, it is the first game here in Southampton with a packed house, the first one for Saints fans since March 2020. Real jubilant atmosphere, as there has been up and down the country on these opening home fixtures for these Premier League sides. Southampton will hope to stop this ridiculously terrible run they've been on against Manchester United. They haven't won against them since they were managed by Ronald Koeman in January 2016. That was at Old Trafford. And the two captains, James Ward-Prowse, as we've been hearing on 5 Live Premier League Sunday, signed a new contract, 5 years, and Harry Maguire getting their final instructions from the referee. The Saints away to our left in a huddle, and they'll be wearing their home strip red and white stripes, black shorts and white socks. Alex McCarthy is in goal. We'll run you through the two teams in full in just a moment. He is in all light blue today. Manchester United in their third strip, navy blue shirts, yellow shorts and navy blue socks. We're just about set for the action. Craig Pawson will blow the whistle for the start of this game. But of course, before we do that, the whistle will blow first of all for the taking of the knee, which is largely applauded, the majority I'd say, around St Mary's. And we are underway. Southampton's number 8, James Ward-Prowse, gets the game underway. Southampton kicking from left to right as we look down here, and immediately a foul given and a good opportunity from a set piece for Southampton early on. Karen Carney.
Yeah, it's a bright start from Southampton. Straight away putting it on Man United, getting the pressure on them straight away, making them feel uncomfortable. That's exactly what they did last season when they were in such good form. Just always made the opposition uncomfortable, hunting, getting around them. And now they've got James Ward-Prowse, as you said, signing a new deal over the ball. This is not who you want to be defending against if you're a Manchester United defender, with his set play deliveries.
In the first minute here, full-time score in the Scottish Premiership, Dundee 2, Hibs 2. James Ward-Prowse raises his left hand up in the air and he swings one in. Went for goal there at the near post, and David De Gea had to scramble down to his right and turns it round the post. Corner kick to Southampton.
Oh, it's 40-odd yards out, and I thought there's no way he's going to take the shot. Thought he's going to put it back post, but I think he tried to give the eye to David De Gea, who was expecting the cross. He's tried to bend it in the near post and it's bounced, and David De Gea just has to push it out for a corner.
It's a good recovery by the Spaniard in light green this afternoon, bright red gloves, and it's James Ward-Prowse once again with the left hand raised. Corner kick on the far side, and he whips it in and it hits the near side netting. Not a great delivery from James Ward-Prowse on this occasion.
Just realised that James Ward-Prowse is human on set plays. Never seen that before from him. Look, usually, as we speak about on a regular basis, his delivery's on point. That's disappointing from him. He needs to be doing better. But just looking actually real quickly at Manchester United shape, it's actually Martial who's in the 9 position, and Greenwood, he's on the right hand side, and Pogba is on the left hand side as the other front 3.
It's Mason Greenwood. Such a brilliant game against Leeds, scored the goal. Of course, one man who had an even more exceptional game was Bruno Fernandes, a hat-trick, and perhaps even more, Paul Pogba with 4 assists. It's been a bit of a shaky start though from Manchester United. They've given it away inside their own third, but Southampton can't work it, and it's at Paul Pogba's feet, and he plays it to Luke Shaw, who's being pressed well inside his own penalty area by Theo Walcott. It's one back by Adam Armstrong, and it's another corner kick to Saints.
The pressing from Southampton's been spot on. It started there with Theo Walcott. He's pressing, getting in the face of Luke Shaw, passes it back to Maguire, and then Armstrong's on him as well, and they win the corner. But that's exactly what I was saying about earlier. They make you feel so uncomfortable. They put you under stress as a player, and any player that has time on the ball can punish you, and this is their game plan. Do not give any Man United player any time on the ball.
Second corner kick already. 3 minutes gone. Southampton 0, Manchester United 0 on BBC Radio 5 Live. Corner kick on this near side, the right. It's low driven from James Ward-Prowse, and Southampton player takes a tumble. There's some shouts mainly from the crowd, and the referee Craig Pawson is unmoved by that, and Manchester United could break here. A fantastic ball over to the far side by Paul Pogba. He has released Greenwood, who gets onto it and plays it back to Wan-Bissaka, midway inside the Southampton half here. Southampton back in their shape. Manchester United lose it with Paul Pogba, and now it's brought away on this near side, the right, by Theo Walcott, who finds the new right back. Chelsea signing Tino Livramento, 18 years old. Had his first senior minutes against Everton. He's starting again this afternoon. Really frenetic start to this game. Gineppo sticks a boot out, and it's a throw-in midway inside the Southampton half to Manchester United.
I was really interested to see Paul Pogba live in this position where he starts on the left-hand side and he just roams in. Kind of comes. He's not left wing. We know that he's going to go in and kind of be an extra centre midfielder and pick up those positions. And then Bruno Fernandes runs into those spaces that he vacates. So I'm interested to see how that progresses as the game goes on, because he was so good last week, so prolific in terms of his assists and game influence.
Former Chelsea and England international Karen Carney, who spotted that Ralph Hasenhüttl is sporting some different attire this afternoon. We'll get onto that in just a moment, but some space on this near side, the right, for Theo Walcott. His shot is charged down though by Nemanja Matic, and it's into the gloves of David De Gea. Not the usual tracksuit today for Ralph Hasenhüttl.
No, I spotted that as soon as it came in. He's gone for Graham Potter-esque. They've both gone out of tracksuits now into different attire, but
it's worked for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm just watching the Manchester United. Michael Carrick's gone down next to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They're both out, not happy with how they started the opening 5 minutes. Manchester United.
Luke Shaw just about keeps that one in. We'll head to Molineux in just a second. That was a 2 o'clock kickoff as well between Wolves and Spurs. Paul Pogba sends it down the line this near side towards Anthony Martial. It's picked up by Salisu, who plays it back to McCarthy in the Southampton goal. Let's check in at Molineux. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, 5 minutes played here, Robin. It's still Wolves 0, Tottenham 0. Neither side really creating anything, but there's been a nasty head collision between Japhet Tanganga and Marcel. They're both competing for the ball on the halfway line, but thankfully they're both okay. They've received treatment. They're back on the pitch. So at this precise moment, they both seem to be just fine. 5 minutes played, Wolves 0, Tottenham 0.
Goalless here at St Mary's between Southampton and Manchester United, and Craig Pawson spotted something he doesn't like, and it's a Manchester United free kick in a dangerous area over on the far side, about midway inside the Southampton half.
I think Fred was just caught on the back of his foot from Perrault. Just caught him. So I think it's just the eagerness, you're probably your home debut. Get in there, as we said, the game plan, hunt and hassle, just like the manager. Just a little bit nick there on Fred.
The set piece over on that far side. It's going to be swung in by Bruno Fernandes. Right-footed. It's deep and it's towards Lindelof, and it's put over the bar. Oh, onto the bar! And scrambled off the line. How on earth did that not go in? Maguire off the bar. And then somehow Southampton survived that Manchester United attack. They were inches away from taking the lead. The watch clearly didn't go off. It's still 0-0.
Wow, I don't know how that didn't go in. First of all, the free kick was absolute spot on from Fernandes. Out swinging free kick, right on the money. There was 3 Manchester United players. Lindelof was at first, didn't make the contact with it. I can't see who made the actual contact where it came off the crossbar. Just watching it back now, it was Pogba. It bounced up at him because it was unexpected. It hit the crossbar, and then the rebound came out to Martial. It was cleared off the line. Outstanding from Salisu. Great positioning there.
Big chance. It was a Salisu who was on the line, who prevented it from crossing it and then cleared away. And after a bit of a nervy start, Manchester United finding their feet here. They have possession inside the Southampton half. Here is Matic, the Serbian, who is making his first start of the season in for Scott McTominay this afternoon. United trying to work something here. Fred lays it back off for Greenwood, who doesn't quite catch it. Wide of the post, Southampton goal kick.
He looks sharp. Greenwood really sharp. I always prefer him in the number 9 because I just think he's so prolific. But he's, as I said, he's starting on the right-hand side, cuts in onto his left-hand foot, gets a 1-2 off Fred and just kind of slashes at the shot. Be disappointing because he's usually so clinical, but that's his game plan today, coming in and getting the early shots off.
And that's the second time this afternoon Alex McCarthy's kick hasn't reached the intended target. And Manchester United have the ball back. It is Southampton 0, Manchester United 0. And I mentioned as the game kicked off, Southampton do not have a good record against Manchester United. Their last win is away from home in 2016. Their last win at home and their only win here at St Mary's was all the way back in 2003, a 1-0 win. The late goal from James Beattie.
Just looking at Southampton in the narrow 4-4-2 shape, it's exactly the same. We expected that from them. I think for Manchester United, if they really want to try and exploit it, they've got to get the wide players involved and really pull them apart and make them work.
Let's head straight to Molineux. Penalty, Sahil Sahi.
Yeah, it's Tottenham who will be taking this penalty. Dele Alli, the ball was fed to him inside the penalty box. He tricked his way past Jose Sarr. He brought him down. The referee's pointed to the spot. Ali scores, puts it the other side of the goalkeeper, Jose Sarr. And it's Tottenham's second goal of this Premier League campaign. They lead Wolves here at Molineux by 1-0.
So a good homecoming for Nuno Espirito Santo against his former side so far. Back with Sahel if anything else happens there. 0-0 here between Southampton and Manchester United on BBC Radio 5 Live Premier League Sunday. It doesn't end here, we have the big one. Chelsea against Arsenal kicks off at 4:30 later on this afternoon. The ball doesn't quite bounce for Southampton inside the Manchester United half, and it's brought away by Bruno Fernandes, hugging that far touchline. And they'll play it back now to Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. We did just have a shot of Raphael Varane on the bench, and it is widely expected that he will, when the time is right, become the replacement for Victor Lindelof. You wonder what Lindelof's thinking.
Just thinking of the same performance as last week, because it's kept him in the team, and he did really well, and maybe he's the type of player that needs to feel the pressure. But it's going to be difficult for him. You bring in Varane, you know he's going to play at some point, it's just when.
Another free kick, there's been quite a few of them already inside the first 10 minutes here at St Mary's. Free kick to Manchester United on this near side, the left side that Manchester United are attacking, about midway inside the Southampton half. 0-0, and it's going to be a left-footed delivery this time from Luke Shaw.
Both wide free kicks have been from, they're looking for the outswing in terms of they're going to really try and put it on the 6-yard line. Bruno Fernandes from the other side, really trying to bend it across. It's difficult for McCarthy to get it.
Luke Shaw. Again, it's a really good delivery. It's bounced kindly here, and the shot from Paul Pogba is blocked, and it's out for a Manchester United corner. Southampton are not defending these very well, but the deliveries are exceptional.
That's what I'm saying. The deliveries are really they're spot on. It could have been maybe offside, but they're just causing a problem because McCarthy can't come and get it, and none of the centre-backs, Stevens or Salisu, are coming out and really commanding it, and they're just petrified then to tap it in for an own goal, and they've got to defend this better or not give away the free kicks.
Here comes the corner over on the far side. A big punch by Alex McCarthy. The header won on the outside the penalty area by Matic, and then Paul Pogba goes down. It's another free kick. The Southampton fans aren't happy. He stops in his tracks and drew the foul, and it's another set piece in a good area, just a little bit closer than last time.
Again, it's naive from Southampton. Pogba's facing his own goal. He's not going to go anywhere. Let him have the first touch and win it on the second one instead of going in, being aggressive, and now you're defending another wide free kick, literally 5 yards outside the 18-yard line, and they look vulnerable, Southampton, at set plays, defending them for sure.
Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw over this one. Shaw, of course, back at the club that made his name, and Southampton came through the academy. It's Shaw who raises his right hand, left-footed delivery towards the back post, and it's a free header for Pogba. He can't keep it down. Big opportunity missed.
Again, they were targeting him. Luke Shaw's putting his hand up. He knows it's for Pogba. Pogba's unmarked. He's got a free run, and then he's in on the 6-yard line. He just can't get the header down. There's a good whip on the cross. He's unmarked. Just can't get it down to cause McCarthy any issues. But again, there's warnings. I always say warnings. It's been 3 or 4 now, and it's only been 13 minutes into the game. They have to stop giving away these set plays, Southampton.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer takes a seat in the dugout, looking a little bit more relaxed now, having endured a couple of minutes that weren't so great. Adam Armstrong tried to be slipped through, and his touch just lets him down, takes it away from where he wanted it, and Manchester United come forward, and that is an exquisite pass outside the right boot by Paul Pogba to find Martial. It's dinked over the top for Martial, who'd made the run. Little 1-2 from Fernandes, but how about that for a pass from Pogba?
Oh, it's ridiculous. He makes it look so easy, but I'm telling you, it's not easy. Outside the right foot, backspin, curl on it, into the path of the centre forward, so he doesn't have to adjust his run for Martial. And then it just kind of, Martial's touch wasn't quite on it then, and it kind of faded out. But wow, he's on the money at the moment, Pogba. He's really and this position suits him, I think.
Ball over from the far side by Fred, tried to pick out Shaw, but it's cut out by Theo Walcott. Inside now to Romain Perraud.
Even then, Luke Shaw was out of the game, and Pogba's gone back at left back and filled in for him. You know, a lot of the time that's unnoticed from people how much work he does, because being a wide player in the position, it's a lot of running. He goes in as a centre midfielder. He's got to track back. He's really top. I really like his position for him.
I believe it was the left side where he was most comfortable when he was at Juventus that got him the move back to Manchester United, but it looks like he's carried on from where he's left off last week with his 4 assists against Leeds United. Heard a journalist this week saying when he's in this mood with his passing, it's like he's turned the gravity off.
I think as well he can take more risks, slightly more right on the flank, you know, and he's got the protection of the other centre midfielders. When he plays centre midfield, if he has that risk element, which is a good thing, that's why he's in the team, if he makes that one pass that's too risky, it's too much of a consequence.
Southampton giving it away in a dangerous area. Fred trying to slip it through. Good recovery from Livramento. Stuck a boot out just in time as Pogba had made the run inside the penalty area. 0-0 still. Manchester United turning up the pressure here at St Mary's. A light breeze, but sunny day here on the south coast. Manchester United finding their rhythm. Harry Maguire on the halfway line. Every single Saints player back, but Manchester United give it away, but Moussa Djenepo had Armstrong up ahead and he couldn't find him. Just need to take care of the ball a bit more. They haven't seen much of it in the last few minutes, Southampton. This is BBC Radio 5 Live Premier League Sunday. As you heard earlier, Tottenham leading Wolves by 1-0, penalty kick. Here at St Mary's, 0-0 between Southampton and Manchester United. Here's Matic inside the centre circle. Southampton can't really get the ball off Manchester United at the moment. Work it down the far side, the right. Here is Fred, scored a very rare goal against Leeds, and he's put it out of play. A sloppy pass there. That spell of possession comes to an end.
Yeah, I think it came to Matic and his touch wasn't on, and he slowed the attack down for Man United. Then they have to go into a building phase. I think if they can just get it and hit the high point, they're your exciting players in Greenwood, Fernandes, Martial, Pogba. I know you have to build it as soon as you can. Be direct. That's where Man United are at their strength, and it makes it easier then for Southampton to be compact and narrow and defend better.
Ironic cheers, a foul given on Shea Adams and Nemanja Matic. Saints fans clearly feel they've been hard done by. It's been another weekend, Karen, where the home sides have gone unbeaten so far in the Premier League. And you can see why with the home fans coming back. It's a deep cross, it's not a bad one, but no Saints player there to get onto it. Theo Walcott, though, battling with Luke Shaw. The bounce of the ball favours Shaw, who plays it off Theo Walcott right on the corner flag and wins the throw-in.
It's going to be a good little battle between them two, Theo Walcott and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's getting a big applause from the Manchester United fans he's just playing in front of. But yeah, it'll be a really good battle. Theo Walcott looks quite sharp.
Oh, this could be an opening, perhaps. A little bit of a hospital back pass towards De Gea, who deals with it well, though. And Southampton, who looked like they'd got the press, as you said, Karen, spot on in the first few minutes, just haven't found it again, although that could be an opening again. Bit of a slack pass by Adams this time. out of play for a throw into Manchester United, 0-0.
It's like you said, when they're out of possession, they're really organised, and then they hunt and win it back. And if they win it back, they seem to give it away. They've got to keep the first pass after they regain it, otherwise they're going to be defending a lot of time and chasing the ball. Just need to be better in possession, Southampton.
Stevens back to McCarthy. Southampton goalkeeper started the final 3 games of the season, battling out with Fraser Forster for that number 1 shirt. It's like McCarthy has got it. The general feeling is that his distribution is slightly better. Pogba,
oh, he's so good, isn't he?
Turning away from challenge after challenge and still finding the pass. McCarthy under pressure from Martial. And McCarthy's goal kick goes out of play. How do you stop Pogba when he's in this mood? Do you have to have someone man marking him almost?
No, at the moment, I mean, look, they haven't really hurt McCarthy, Manchester United so far, so as much as he's getting into the rhythm and groove, they're containing him, and that's what they do. But
here's Luke Shaw drifting inside and now finds Martial, and Martial tries to poke it through to Pogba, and the flag has gone up on that far side. It went up very quickly.
But they'll be aware of it. You know, Southampton, I mentioned it earlier, how, you know, last season there was a clear imbalance of Manchester United. They're so left-sided dominant in terms of how they attack. I think 3rd highest in the Premier League, whereas on the right-hand side they're joint 2nd lowest. So in terms of, you know, scouting analysis, you know Paul Pogba is going to come in field, roam in field, and you know they're going to attack with Luke Shaw and be dominant down his side. So you can have Hasenhüttl will know exactly how to defend, and maybe they're slightly overcompensating a little bit to protect that side.
Is a free kick which will be taken by the goalkeeper McCarthy. Right-footed, sends it up over the halfway line towards Adams. It's won by Harry Maguire and then Luke Shaw, and then Ward-Prowse gets a foot in and gets there first and wants the foul, but Craig Pawson lets it go. And now here come Manchester United on the break over on the far side. Mason Greenwood, he's been doubled up on. He finds Fernandes, who'll swing in the cross first time. It's headed away by Stevens. Recycled over on that far side to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now Fernandes inside to Fred. Nice little triangles, and Greenwood was making the run, but he's tracked well by Perraud. Oh, and that's a good little turn by Pogba. He tried to square the ball towards Martial. It's blocked and out for a Manchester United throw just a few yards away from the corner flag over on that far side. Throw-in taken by Wan-Bissaka, and it's smashed out of play. And it's going to be another corner kick to Manchester United.
I was just watching the movement of Mason Greenwood, and you're always taught as a kid, make one movement for the defender and one for yourself, and he's always doing opposite movements. So if he goes away, he wants it to feet. He's just really, really sharp in that. For a young player, I think that's why he's better in the number 9 position, because he can make those movements in between the centre halves, where he can sometimes be isolated out on the wing.
Here comes the corner kick, another good meaty punch by McCarthy, gets good distance on it, all the way back to Wan-Bissaka just inside the Southampton half, spreads it over to the far side. That's a good diagonal by Wan-Bissaka. Greenwood goes down, the referee waves play on. Now here comes Southampton with Oriol Romeu. Again, Manchester United back in their shape, and Mason Greenwood is still down, and well, Stevens has picked the ball up. I think the referee has now stopped the game, and he's pointing at his head, Craig Pawson. Stevens is absolutely furious because he doesn't believe that he's down injured with a head injury, which means they had no need to stop. I think if the referee has any doubt, he has to stop the game, but clear frustration there from Southampton. Mason Greenwood is back up on his feet now.
Yeah, I mean, there was a switch ball out to Greenwood, and I think he was just slightly caught on his chin and stayed down, and the play played on when Southampton won it back, and Stevens was infuriated because they were on the attack and felt that Green would be okay, but the referee, head injury, protect the player, he did the right thing. Green, really, it's about health and safety, and that's the referee's job.
Unfortunately, that is going to make him a bit unpopular, but yes, safety first. He did think it was a head injury, and of course the Southampton fans are not best pleased as Mason Greenwood is back up, just rubbing his chin. And ball is put out of play over on that far side. Midway through the first half here, it is Southampton 0, Manchester United 0. We have live football commentary for you in the next 3 days as well. Monday Night Club tomorrow, followed by commentary of West Ham United against Leicester, and then Carabao Cup starts on 5 Live. Barrow against Aston Villa on Tuesday, and all round the grounds as well from the other second round ties. And then Wednesday nights we have West Bromwich Albion against Arsenal, and don't forget Arsenal against Chelsea live from the Emirates coming up from 4:30 today. Southampton go long, Manchester United pick it up easily. They are dictating things. Wan-Bissaka forced to go inside. Matic gets there first. They just look sharper, Manchester United. Down the line on that far side by Bruno Fernandes. Mason Greenwood on the ball now. He's being booed by the Southampton fans, as you'd expect after the previous incident. Fernandes cuts it back here for Fred. Doesn't take on the shot. Moves it to this near side, the left for Luke Shaw. Into Fred, over the top for Pogba, who was offside, so he leaves it. Another Southampton goal kick.
Have to applaud the defending from Southampton, because as Manchester United are breaking on the counter-attack, they get back so quickly. Southampton, they go narrow, the defender width of the goal and make it difficult, and Greenwood has to go back, and then they're back in numbers really quickly. So, you know, everyone saw last week how quick and devastating Manchester United are on the counter-attack, but Southampton brilliant in their recovery runs there to nullify it.
Goalless here. Southampton, though, their defence hasn't been great this season going into last. No clean sheet in the last 12 in the Premier League. That was in March, and that was against Sheffield United. We just got a shot from the camera of Ed Woodward sitting next to a smiling Sir Alex Ferguson here at St Mary's. Manchester United trying to work it forward. That's a good header by Salisu, the Southampton centre-half. Signed last summer, didn't get an awful lot of games, but he's started the first 2 here. Lindelof plays it back to David De Gea. The Southampton fans urging Southampton to press, which they are doing. And a mistake is caused, and that's a foul by Bruno Fernandes. Very late. And there's going to be a free kick to Southampton.
What Southampton do brilliantly is any time Manchester United pass the ball back, that's a cue, that's a sign. We press. And every time it went back, the next player pressed, and it went back and back and back until Manchester United were forced into a mistake, and it was won there back by Pero, and then it was caught late from Bruno Fernandes. Just got ahead of him, caught him on the shin. But again, they're so good at pressing and putting you into full sense of security, Man United, and hunt, and this is where they get another wide free kick with James Ward-Prowse over the ball now.
It's even further away than the one that he attempted to score from, so I don't think he's going to do that this time. But a very similar position over on that far side. It will favour the right foot of James Ward-Prowse, his trademark slicked hair over to the right-hand side. And it's whipped in once again. Bruno Fernandes gets his head to the ball. And Manchester United attempt to break with the energetic Greenwood, but it's forward from Livramento. Again, the Southampton fans are screaming for a foul, which isn't forthcoming. Greenwood trying to twist away from a couple of challenges, and Southampton win it back, but it's punted out of play by Stevens for a Manchester United throw. Let's get back to Molineux. How's it looking between Wolves and Spurs, the Hillside?
Tottenham are still leading by a goal to nil. Wolves are on the attack. It's Jimenez. Oh, just over the crossbar. That would have been a lovely goal for Jimenez and Wolves, but it just floated over the top of the crossbar. It's still Wolves 0, Tottenham 1. The goal coming after 9 minutes from the penalty spot. Dele Alli got tripped. He took the penalty himself, and he put it past Jose Sarr. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1.
Southampton 0, Manchester United 0. Southampton win it back well on the far side with Moussa Djenepo, who finds Armstrong. Back to Djenepo, up against Fred. A couple of step-overs, 2 or 3 step-overs actually. Finds Armstrong, who takes the shot, and it's just high and wide. Adam Armstrong scored in his debut last weekend against Everton. Took on the shot there, wasn't too far away either.
No, it was in the right area. I think Djenepo did really well picking him out on the edge of the 18-yard box. You see what he does. I mean, the ball into him was fizzed at him quite high up, and he gets a really good cushion touchdown, and he's trying to bend it into the far corner. You know exactly what he's trying to do, just didn't execute it, but they need to get him more on the ball. He's really bright, lively, done so well last season in the Championship. Just hoping he can replicate it in here, and eventually Southampton won't be missing Danny Ings.
A big football boots to fill from Danny Ings. Scored 2 and 2 for his new club Aston Villa. Absolutely outrageous overhead kick yesterday. Here is Salisu. Southampton now coming back into the game. Plays it out to the far side to Perro, and now Gineppo. Over on the far side, enters the penalty area. Down he goes, and his attempted shot or pass was blocked by Fred, and Manchester United clear.
Did really well there to block over, because Gineppo was starting to get into the rhythm and did a double step over. Tried to get it on his right foot, and the shot was coming off, and it was just blocked there from Fred, who was in the right position at the right time.
Southampton now having a spell, enjoying a little bit more possession. They've survived the Manchester United storm, where they hit the bar and had one cleared off the line, and now they look a little bit more confident, although Martial, not a great touch. Well, you've got to say it was a good piece of defending from Stevens, who stopped the ball going into the feet of Martial.
I think this is the frustrating part about Martial. We haven't seen enough of him. He hasn't made runs in behind as much. It gets played up to him. You know, he's in the team today. You know, people have come in. You've got to make an impact.
Great ball from the inside into Livramento on this near side, the right. Tries to play in Theo Walcott, who was in the penalty area, and that was very close for Che Adams to nick it off the toes of Harry Maguire. Good press, and Bruno Fernandes dawdled on the ball, and it's taken by him by Stevens, and now Che Adams facing up. Adams! It's there! Che Adams, low, left-footed, past David De Gea. He sends St Mary's into rapture. Southampton 1, Manchester United 0.
Well, we've spoken about how aggressive they are in the opposition half in terms of pressing, and that's where this goal came from. There's an argument where Bruno Fernandes was fouled. I don't think it was a foul, but I'm sure it'll be looked at. But look, it gets played in around the 18-yard box. They're tight together, nice little intricate passes, and it falls to Che Adams, and he gets it onto his left foot, and it's a brilliant finish. But looking at the build-up play, I think Stevens was aggressive, winning it off Fernandes. It gets picked out then. There was a slight deflection though on the end product though of the shot from Che Adams. But look, the last 5 or 10 minutes, I think they've deserved it, Southampton. But it was really good intricate play around the 18-yard box. Armstrong keying it. 2 centre-forwards linking up well, and that's 1-0.
Oh, a lot of Manchester United complaints. And it looks like Craig Pawson has had a word with a few of them. Have to see. I think there was a booking there. Try and get confirmation of that. Bruno Fernandes is really not happy. He was the player who he thought was fouled, although we've seen, Karen, this game in particular, Craig Pawson has let a lot of things go.
It's got physical the last 5 or 10 minutes, and you're right, he's let a few go. But where I don't think Bruno Fernandes helped himself is when the foul was coming, he checked his shoulder as if to say, I know it's coming, I'm going to go down. So the referee was in a good position, was like, no, I've seen that you've read it, you've looked at it, I'm going to play on. And then they were just absolutely punished, and it was clinical right down the centre of Manchester United.
A pensive looking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on the touchline now. His side very unlucky to be behind, but it's been fairly even. Very cut and thrust, ebbed and flowed, and it just flowed towards Southampton, and they are the ones who took advantage when they've been on top.
I remember being here last season when they played each other, and again Southampton were uber physical and Manchester United just didn't like it, and in the second half they came out and made changes and competed better.
Here comes Pogba, gets away from his man and crosses the ball in left side of the penalty area. It's over to the far side now with Greenwood. Here come the boos once again. Plays it inside, about 40 yards from goal, Manchester United. Fernandes to Wan-Bissaka. Now to Fred, playing it in and around the penalty area. Fernandes with a clever little chip ball, a little bit too much on it though for Wan-Bissaka. It's going to go out for a goal kick to Southampton.
Slightly rattled Manchester United. Not, like I said, the same last season. I think half time they brought Cavani on and that's how we changed the game. But just looking back at the foul, Stevens stepping in on Fernandes, it wasn't a foul for me. You know, you're in your own half, you've got to get your body, you've got to protect it. Different area of the pitch, you might be getting away with it, but not there.
2-0 up in this fixture last season. You're absolutely right. They lost 3-2 to Manchester United. Southampton, in fact, they won't be counting their chickens just yet, Southampton, because Manchester United have come back a total of 10 times to get points off Southampton in the past. So I think in general also they've just had a little bit of an issue keeping hold of lead, Southampton, in the past, something they must work on. But Ralph Hasenhüttl in his crisp white shirt and vest, still prowling his touchline, still got his trainers on. An interesting hybrid look there from the Southampton manager. They lead by 0-0. Shea Adams scored 9 goals last season, off the mark this. Southampton in possession in their own half. Spurs lead by 0-0 at Wolves at Molineux. That was also a 2 o'clock kickoff as we approach the 34th minute here at St Mary's. Fred allowed to turn in the midfield and places the pass over to the far side. And it's a ball looking for Pogba, and Alex McCarthy did just enough to get there first.
Seeing how Manchester United are responding, looking, Solskjaer's come out. His technical area, he's not happy at all with how they've performed. They just haven't, like I said, it's the same thing. They haven't probably earned the right to play. They haven't matched the battle.
Just over 10 minutes remaining of this first half. Southampton 1, Manchester United 0 on 5 Live. Premier League Sunday, 4:30. We have commentary of Arsenal against Chelsea. Will we see the second coming of Romelu Lukaku? I'm sure the Arsenal fans will hope not. Lindelof in possession for Manchester United. Finds his centre-half partner, Maguire, into the feet of Fred, who is being closed down by Adams. And Craig Pawson motions that Adams was tugging his shirt. And I'll tell you what, if he didn't give that, Southampton would have been in again.
I think Manchester United got to go a little bit more direct. They're playing into the middle, but Southampton are so compact in their 4-4-2. They're really, really narrow. And Luke Shaw's free. Paul Pogba's in the little pocket space. They keep playing tight. Got to get it out wide because, again, look, played it centrally, it's been congested, and they lose the ball. They've got to get more width to the side, Manchester United, and then once they open Southampton up, then you can play through the middle.
Saints weathered the storm. Now they are getting decisions. Things are just falling their way, leading Manchester United by 1-0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Here is Livramento, former Chelsea player, tripped by Pogba. 2 fouls in quick succession, and some of the fans next to us want a bit more of a talking to Paul Pogba.
So just watching the assistant manager of Manchester United is saying to the centre-backs, hit more diagonal balls, longer diagonal balls. It's interesting.
Substitutes warming up. Donny van der Beek and Raphael Varane getting his first run the touchline, wearing the fluorescent orange vest from a substitute. Player of such high quality, one who's won everything in the game, domestically and internationally, of course, for France as well. Southampton in possession. They have a throw-in deep inside the Manchester United half, about 10 yards away from the corner flag, over on that far side. It's going to be taken by the left-back Romain Perraud, who signed in the summer from Stade Brest and recorded the most assists by a defender in Ligue 1. Gineppo trying to force his way to the byline. Corner kick is claimed, and it is given to Southampton.
Look how Gineppo then turned to the crowd and said, come on, and the Southampton fans absolutely loving it.
A gesture to the fans to make some noise after winning a corner kick. That is how happy players are that fans are back in the stadium. There's going to be a Ward-Prowse delivery once again. Over on that far side, the left hand goes up, right-footed towards the near post. It's Pogba who gets the header away. And the bounce of the ball is a little bit awkward. Manchester United trying to break, but Romeo picks it up. Not a great pass by Adams. A bit of space now here for Greenwood. First time ball over the halfway line towards Luke Shaw. And now Pogba has time to look up and pick a pass. Finds Fernandes. This could be neat from Manchester United. Floats it in towards Greenwood. He takes on the shot and gets it wrong. It was a difficult volleyed opportunity, but the Southampton fans enjoyed him getting that slightly askew.
Yeah, it works itself out to Bruno Fernandes slightly on the right hand side. He's trying to dink it over Stevens' head into the path of Mason Greenwood, and it's see it coming over his head, and he's trying his best to look at it with his left foot and smash it into the corner on the volley, but just slightly took his eye off it and scuffed it in the end. But I think that's what they've got to do more of, turn Southampton. Same B, long ball, but it's a long pass. It can be a little bit more direct.
Will that favour Anthony Martial, Karen? Because you were saying in the build-up, this is a big chance for him. He's starting a game. He didn't have a great season last time. Yes, he had a lot of injuries, but in those forward positions for Manchester United, he's not really doing a lot.
No, and I don't like to be overcritical. Manchester United attack.
Shaw plays it out to the far side. Djenepo will try and prevent the corner here. It's out of play, and it is a corner to Manchester United.
No, I was just saying, on Martial, you're in the team, you've got an opportunity, really stake a claim. It's the second game of the season, you've had a good pre-season, come in. Manchester United had a good result last week, roll on that momentum, but it just hasn't looked himself, doesn't look comfortable, and hasn't made the movements to help his team out.
So a corner kick. We're approaching the 40th minute of the first half here. Manchester United trailing by 1-0. It's an out-swinging corner. Matic was up there, eventually cleared by Romeo on the penalty spot, and now Southampton can break. Armstrong wants it. Livramento gets past Fred. He needs to get his head up here. Fred is getting back at him. Livramento, what a run this is! And he tries to find Armstrong, who was stretching every sinew to get there, but it wasn't quite enough. It's going to be kept in over on the far side with Adams. Plays it back to Djenepo. Not on the same wavelength as Perraud, who'd made the run into the penalty area, and Manchester United try and bring it away, but that's a poor ball. Here's Theo Walcott trying to get around Harry Maguire, and the referee has waved for a goal kick. What a chance for a second, and what a play from Tino Livramento.
Unbelievable from Livramento. He picks the ball up in his own half, and actually Armstrong is free. He's in a 1v1 situation with Pogba, and everyone's shouting, pass it, but fair play to Livramento. He's unbalanced and he thinks, I can't make this pass, keeps going down the right hand side, and eventually fizzes a great ball across the 18-yard box. But Armstrong just can't do enough to get there, but brilliant play from the young right back.
Southampton 1, Manchester United 0. Let's head to Molineux and El Tahi.
4 minutes to play in the first half, Robin. It's still Wolves 0, Tottenham 1. The goal coming from the penalty spot. Dele Alli with his first of the season. Wolves have been dangerous, especially on the counter-attack, but that final pass, that final touch is severely lacking. We'll have a lengthy time added on period at the end of this first half because of a nasty head collision between Tanganga and Marçal. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1.
Well, it's Romeo has lost it, and because of that Greenwood was fouled. A rush of blood from Perraud and a free kick. This isn't a shooting position for Manchester United.
Yes, poor from Stevens, giving it away literally 20 yards out from his own goal. Central, it leaves his teammate Perraud no choice but to foul Mason Greenwood. You do all the fantastic work, Southampton, you defend well, and you just give a sloppy sideward pass, square pass. You cannot afford to do that. Golden rule, do not give the ball away in your own half, and certainly not a square pass.
So a few candidates lining this one up about 30 yards from goal here. Ward-Prowse trying to get in on the conversation. He's trying to listen in to what they have planned. He has that in his locker, doesn't he, James Ward-Prowse? He's a sort of under the radar certain house, I'd say.
Well, like I said earlier, he wasn't in the team when Ralph Hasenhüttl came in, and he knocked on his door and said, what do I need more to get in? He's like, you need to be more aggressive and a bit more savvy. So he's definitely added that to his game, has played pretty much every game since.
He looks like such an angel, doesn't he? I think that's why we don't expect it from him, but I think I remember he's had quite a few runnings with Wilfried Zaha in the past, and you see that again when Southampton face Crystal Palace during the season. It's going to be Fernandes is one of the candidates here to take on this Free kicking. The other one is Fred, left-footed. I think Bruno Fernandes, having scored a hat-trick last weekend, will want to take on the shot. Craig Pawson just checking the wall. Is the regulation 10 yards away? Paul Pogba there in close attendance to the wall as well, trying to cause some problems. So a really good chance for Manchester United to strike back here. 10 minutes to go until half-time. It's Fernandes, it comes off the wall. Huge cheer. That will go out for a Manchester United corner kick.
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes disappointed there. He's shaking his head. The wall did its job. Stood big. Blocked it, gone up for a corner. Luke Shaw now with the out-swinging corner. Can they make it count just before half-time?
We should mention that Bruno Fernandes was booked after the goal for his complaints. It's left-footed from Luke Shaw, and it was Matic who got there, the header downwards, and it's an easy take in the end for Alex McCarthy, low to his left-hand side.
Oh, look, it's a brilliant ball in, and again, Matic goes in, he's unmarked, he kind of goes round from the back post. This has been a problem, we said it early on, he's came from the back post, he's unmarked, he gets up a free head 8 yards out, he's got good height on it, he heads it down, just the pace wasn't on it, and he bounced, and McCarthy was comfortable getting down and saving it, but you cannot keep allowing players to go around the back post and free and get free headers and not be punished at some point during the game.
Salisu with the up and under. Harry Maguire takes it down unchallenged on the edge of his own penalty area. Southampton having a breather as we approach stoppage time at the end of the first half. Really good game of Premier League football this. It's Southampton who started the better, then Manchester United had a really sustained spell of pressure, but then Southampton came back into it and managed to get their goal. Shea Adams, his first of the season. United though looking dangerous as we approach the latter stages of this first half. Here is Lindelof inside to Matic, who's dropped deep to make a sort of back three for United. Maguire sends it out to this near side to Luke Shaw, who's looked very sharp on his return to his boyhood club. The order's gone up, and it's 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this one. Sounds like it's going to be a lot more at Molineux for a head injury. Spurs leading by a goal to nil. Southampton have nicked it once again in a dangerous area, but Romeo's touch lets him down. He was looking up for his options and he lost the ball while he did that. Maguire, first time pass from Fernandes into Pogba on this near side, the left. Not on the same wavelength as Martial. The Saints fans absolutely love that. Martial drops his shoulders, he looks frustrated. It's going to be a Southampton throw, which they'll take their sweet time over.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's gone and sat down on his bench, speaking to Michael Carrick. Not happy one bit. Just haven't been able to stamp any authority on the game, and especially in the last 20 minutes of this first half. Southampton have been the better team and definitely put their stamp on the game for sure.
So Lindelof, Swedish international. 5 minutes added on at Molineux will be a Sahel Sahi at the conclusion of the half, unless something happens in that 5 minutes of stoppage time between Wolves and Spurs. 1-0 here to Southampton. Another misplaced pass, this time by Harry Maguire. And again, must be strange for players, Karen, when your every mistake now is sort of jeered. So you got used to not having that for 18 months.
You called it about the home advantage early on, and you definitely see it, the confidence in the shift. And you know, when there's no fans here pressing and hunting, it's a big ask at times, but when your crowd's behind you and cheering you on at every press, every time you put the opposition under pressure and you force a mistake, just gives you that extra oomph, and that's what you've seen in the Southampton side as the game's gone on.
Ball is in the Manchester United half, in their possession. Lindelof, he's got Aaron Wan-Bissaka over on the far side. Here is Wan-Bissaka, and that is it. The first half high on chances, but the one that was taken was by Shea Adams of Southampton. Beautifully taken, left-footed past David De Gea. Manchester United have had their chances. They've hit the bar, they've had one cleared off the line, but they trail at the break. Karen Carney.
Yeah, Manchester United started the better side in 20 minutes, as you said, had some chances, but then Southampton grew into the game and were really aggressive, and Manchester United just didn't like being put under such discomfort. And then a little bit of, you know, you'll see later on match of the day perhaps the foul perhaps on Fernandes. I don't think it was. play carried on and they were just punished then, Man United, and really good intricate play around the 18-yard box, and it was clinically finished off. Slight deflection from Che Adams, but sometimes you get your luck when you press and you hunt after the ball, and that's exactly what they've done.
Work for United to do at the break. Half-time here at St Mary's. Southampton 1, Manchester United 0.
He's not necessarily got all the headlines, Che Adams, Karen, because of the Adam Armstrong signing to replace Danny Ings, but there's a lot on his shoulders as well, and that's not a bad start.
No, you're right. He's done brilliant, because I think when he came in, it was Danny Ings, and I saw how Danny Ings helped him into the side, and now he's got to do the same for Armstrong, and sometimes having that extra responsibility brings out the best in you, and he's been really good in terms of they're working well and the connection. And you see the goal, they link up really well, nice little flick round the corner to one another, and it was put away. But they've really grown into the game, both the centre forwards, Armstrong and Che Adams.
The fluidity for Manchester United, I mean, compared to last week, that difference is marked, isn't it?
It's non-existent. It really is. There's no it started off okay, but then Bruno Fernandes has probably played into the hands of Southampton. I haven't seen Martial. I don't think he knows what he's offering or what he's doing. He looks lost, and Greenwood's on the right hand side cutting in, and that's fine when he's left foot, but when Southampton are so narrow, he's going into body, so it's not working. I think they've got to get on some wide players, and not even change the centre forward, seeing how they could bring on, but they need to add some pace down the wide areas, and Daniel James bringing Sancho on at some point, because he has not gelled at all for Man United today.
I suppose the option would be bring Sancho on for Martial and put Greenwood through the middle. I wonder if that's already on his mind, that kind of thing.
Yeah, potentially. The thing for me that's frustrating is you look at that front line Manchester United got, you go pace, wow, pace, skill, put it in behind a little bit more, really turn Southampton. They haven't done it. They've played into the hands of Southampton, so you're right, you might see Martial go off and like you said, bring on Sancho or even Daniel James. Just depends on how fit Sancho is, and Greenwood in his preferred position in that number 9 role, where he's clinical and his movement is far superior than Martial's has been to date.
Karen, Robin, thank you very much for the time being. So Che Adams' goal makes it Southampton 1, Manchester United 0 at half-time. The half-time whistle is seconds away at Molineux. Sahel Sahi.
Brilliant, Steve. I think that's why you get paid the big dollars, don't you? Right on cue. It's at half-time here. It's Wolves 0, Tottenham 1. It's Tottenham who are in charge. Dele Alli was put through by a defence-splitting pass. He jinked his way past Jose Sarr, who had no alternative but to haul him down. Tele took responsibility for the penalty himself, with Harry Kane on the bench this afternoon, and he sent the Wolves goalkeeper the wrong way. The home side, they're dangerous, especially with the pacey Adama Traore, but the final pass is missing. They've hogged the majority of the possession without lacking that real cutting edge, and so far so good then for Nuno Espirito Santo on his return to Molineux. Half-time, Wolves 0, Tottenham 1.
And has Harry Kane breathed, looked at the sky, yawned, anything else in this first half?
No, nothing. I'll tell you what's interesting though, just quickly, Steve, in the pre-match warm-ups and playing out there, he just looked a little bit isolated, a little bit on his own. I was watching that kind of warm-up between him and the subs. He just seemed to be on his own. Maybe I'm reading a bit too much into it, but he just looked to be a little bit isolated.
That's what it is at the minute. Every single move is something that we're going to look at and focus on. Sahel, thank you very much. Maybe we'll even get to see him play football in the second half. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1 at half-time. Southampton 1, Manchester United 0. Much more to come after the latest news on 5 Live with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Boris Johnson says leaders of the G7 group of industrialised nations will hold a summit on Tuesday to discuss the situation in Afghanistan. NATO believes at least 20 people have died in the past 7 days around Kabul airport, where thousands have been making desperate attempts to get out of the country. The Taliban has been blaming the chaos on the United States, but the UK's Armed Forces Minister, James Heappey, says things at the airport have been improving. Here's our correspondent, Dan Johnson.
The situation does seem calmer today in the streets around the airport. The Taliban helping to organise the crowds, forming people into queues, which is making the processing effort more efficient, and people are more quickly able to get through the gates into the airport and then onto those flights.
Police investigating a violent homophobic attack in Birmingham's gay village last weekend, which left 2 men needing hospital treatment, have arrested a 31-year-old man on suspicion of wounding. Detectives say they still want to speak to 2 other men about the assault. Antibody tests will be offered to thousands of adults in the UK who test positive for coronavirus as part of a scheme to find out how much natural protection people develop after becoming infected. Anyone over 18 will be able to opt in when taking a PCR test from Tuesday. Reports from Japan say venues used for the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics could be turned into temporary medical centres for COVID patients. The country is tackling a surge in cases. The Paralympic Games, which begin on Tuesday, will be held largely without spectators.
The Football Daily Podcast.
I'm Aaron Paul, and every Friday on the Football Daily Podcast, we turn the spotlight to the teams in the Football League.
The expectation when I joined the club is that the club were building and trying to get to the Premier League.
From the Championship to League Two and the National Leagues, we'll bring you the biggest names, the biggest interviews and the biggest stories across the English Football League and beyond.
We believe that we can develop players, give them a platform to play in, trying to do things the right way and move forward within our means.
72 plus on the Football Daily Podcast. Catch us on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Southampton 1, Manchester United 0 half-time in our first commentary of this Premier League Sunday, and it's Wolves 0, Tottenham 1 at Molineux. Shortly we'll take you to the Emirates for the first time this afternoon. We're bringing you full commentary of Arsenal in front of a full home stadium for the first time in 17 months against Chelsea, and we'll also look ahead shortly to Ross County Rangers, which gets underway in the next 5 minutes or so. But we've got also a big day of golf to bring you. Let's cross to Carnoustie. It's the final round of the Women's Open. The final groups have just teed off and the chasing pack are starting to make their move. Pro golfer Sophie Powell is alongside our correspondent Ian Carter.
That's right, and it is the most glorious day here, Steve. It was very misty and murky at the start of the day. That's given way to glorious sunshine, lovely gentle breeze sweeping across the links, and with softened fairways and softened greens, then someone could go very low indeed. And one of the overnight leaders, Anna Nordqvist, as I speak, lips out for a birdie at the first, and that will keep her at 9 under par. We now have a three-way tie for the lead because Lizette Salas birdied the first, the American. Nana Kurtz-Madsen has just splashed out of a greenside bunker, and that should result in a par that will keep her at 9 under. But the big news so far is that Louise Duncan, the 21-year-old Scottish amateur, off to a flyer. She has managed to birdie the first, brilliant approach in there, knocked in the birdie putt very nonchalantly, made a good par at the second, very nearly birdied that from long range, and is safely on the green in 2 at the third. And Sophie Powell, what a start this is for Louise Duncan, exactly what she would have needed.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable start. She just looks so composed.
She's done remarkably well this week, hasn't she, with a 68 for the first round, 73 for the second round, yesterday 68. But this is a whole new kettle of fish, you would think, isn't it? What are going to be the key elements for her today?
I think she just needs to try and be steady. I mean, we've seen from the golf the last 3 days that she's played that she's really aggressive with her pins. There's a few pins tucked quite tight today, so if she tries to be a bit too greedy with those, she could, end up in a few bunkers. So I think she just needs to be a bit conservative when the pins are tough, but she's going for it.
As an amateur, she's played all her golf as basically links golf. She was struggling last night to remember the last time she played on a sort of normal Parklands course.
Yeah.
That gives her a big advantage, doesn't it?
Oh, massive. Just for her seeing the shots and playing the shots in. I mean, we saw Nelly Corder yesterday. She chipped from literally 2 yards off the green because she's just not used to putting from off greens. So, yeah, it just comes naturally to her by the looks of things.
Well, we can have a look at Duncan right now. We'll be commentating live on Sports Extra very shortly, but here she is on the third, looking for a second birdie of the round, down the hill, borrowing from left to right. This looks very, very good. Oh, beautifully judged. And that will be a tap in for a par 4 that keeps her within one shot of the lead. So Louise Duncan at 8 under par. Georgia Hall, it's been par golf so far. 5 of them now in a row. At 6 under, she's 3 shots behind, and 3 leaders: Salas, Kurtz-Madsen and Nordqvist. It's brewing up very nicely, Steve.
Ian, Sophie, thank you very much. Right, let's go to the Emirates for the first time this afternoon. We're bringing you full commentary of Arsenal versus Chelsea in the Premier League at 4:30. Conor McNamara, your commentator. Afternoon, Conor.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. 17 months since we've had a full Emirates. This should be interesting.
It should be, and very busy trying to get into the stadium today. People crowding around, and there is an expectancy. I think for Mikel Arteta, particularly the early stages of last season, he was quite pleased that the games were being played behind closed doors, because his team did not play well early stage of the season. To be fair, you look back last season, Arsenal did massively improve in the second half of the campaign. Emile Smith-Rowe started getting in the team and pulling a few strings, but by then they were always way behind, and now they come into this campaign for the first time since the mid-90s. Arsenal not playing in European football, but can that help them, Steve? They can the cliche, they can focus on the league this year, but this is huge today, having lost at Brentford last week.
We're obviously going to have to wait and see whether Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is involved, but there is a bit of news circulating on Ben White.
Yeah, so Ben White, we're being told, will not be featuring today, and he is ill. And there are 4 players unavailable with COVID in the Arsenal squad at the moment, and that does include Aubameyang, who's subsequently, come through testing okay, and he did train yesterday, so he is in contention to play. But clearly, it has been a bit of an issue behind the scenes this week, and we haven't got it confirmed as to whether Ben White is COVID related, but we're told he is ill one way or the other and not expected to play. And look, that's not good timing, is it? He's the big money defender. He's very good in the air, and they're going to be up against Romelu Lukaku today. Not the sort of guy you want to be without.
Yes, well, let's hope so, given how much of the time we've spent building up to Romelu Lukaku's return, that he's actually in the team, or at least on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's going to be interesting to see with Lukaku. Are we going to get the guy who scored goals for fun in Serie A with Inter, or are we going to get the Lukaku who struggled at Manchester United? And there is definitely a case to say that the style of play in Italy really works well for him and really suits him. And in the Premier League, yes, we know that on his day he can be absolutely unstoppable, but teams can also get a grip on him. Now he himself says he's more mature now. He can deliver, and they've obviously spent an awful lot of money to guy who was at the club earlier on in his career. As you say, everyone's expecting him to start here. It'll be a real disappointment if he doesn't.
Yeah, and if Romelu Lukaku does feature and there's no Ben White for Arsenal, that's going to make things obviously all the more difficult. Thomas Tuchel did say in the build-up to the game that he thinks Arsenal will try and make themselves the underdogs. I'm not sure they're going to have to try that hard.
That would not be a difficult task. I think the opening results last weekend set the agenda. Losing to Brentford, it feels Arteta's already under pressure, and obviously by contrast Chelsea have had this high of winning the Champions League. Even the UEFA Super Cup, okay, it's not the most prestigious competition, but they still went and won it. Then they beat Crystal Palace and comprehensively last weekend. Thomas Tuchel, since he's come in, he really has been this breath of fresh air. It has been everything he's touched has turned to gold. And goals are the interesting thing. I mean, last season it was Jorginho, top goal scorer, 7 goals, all penalties. If you were to bring in a striker, Lukaku, and he does hit the ground running, then Chelsea can move to a whole new level.
Connor, thank you very much. Full commentary to come. And as Connor was saying there, reported from David Ornstein in The Athletic that Ben White is not going to be involved this afternoon. We'll wait and see whether Romelu Lukaku is, but it certainly sounds like he's going to feature. Already in the Scottish Premiership, Hibs have gone to the top of the table despite Paul McGowan's late header earning Dundee a point in a thrilling 2-2 draw. 3 games about to get underway. Hearts, Aberdeen, St Johnstone, Dundee United and Ross County against Rangers. Kenny Crawford is there for us today afternoon. Kenny?
Afternoon, Steve. Yeah, we're a minute into this game here at the Global Energy Stadium, a 200-mile trip north from Glasgow to Dingwall for Rangers, and it's a Rangers side that manager Steven Gerrard is told to waken up after an unconvincing start to the season. 6 competitive games, won 3, lost 3, and that's been exacerbated by the fact that Celtic are flying at the moment. The two sides, the Old Firm, meet next Sunday, and this game's important for Rangers to get a performance in that gives them confidence ahead of that one. 1 minute gone, it's Ross County 0, Rangers 0.
Kenny, thank you very much. Harry Kane has got his bib on. He's warming up ahead of the second half at Molineux. Remember, it's Wolves 0, Tottenham 1. Sahel Sarr, he's going to keep us up to date. Our second half commentary comes from St Mary's. It's Southampton against Manchester United. The Saints lead by a 0-0, and Karen Carney is alongside Robin Carroll.
Thank you, Steve. There's been a few issues with ticketing today, we should say, for Southampton. A lot of empty seats around St Mary's, and the club have issued a statement saying the club would like to apologise for the frustration caused by issues regarding match tickets and entry to the stadium today, and is already working on a full investigation into these issues. We will be issuing a full refund for this game to every general admission ticket holder. Details of this process will be shared early next week. Sorry for any inconvenience. We are underway in the second half here at St Mary's, but not great news for Saints fans who might be missing an historic win against Manchester United, a first at home since 2003, and they are good value for it, Karen Carney.
Yeah, they were brilliant in the latter part of the first half. Really were compact, organised, and then would just put Manchester United into massive pressure every time they got on the ball, and Manchester United just didn't have any answers. They looked really rattled by it, but we'll just see how now Manchester United and both Southampton fare in this start of the second half.
No changes for either side as United come forward. Little pass down the line for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And he's challenged. There's going to be a corner kick to Manchester United. So the two teams this afternoon, McCarthy in goal for Southampton, in defence Livramento, Stevens, Salisu and Perro. In the midfield we've got Walcott, Romeo, Ward-Prowse, Gineppo, and up front Armstrong and Adams. And for Manchester United today, De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, Fred, Matic, Martial, Greenwood, Pogba and Fernandes. And it's a corner kick on this near side for Manchester United in their navy blue shirts and socks and yellow shorts. It's deep, left-footed towards the back post, and Southampton will clear away, and it's picked up by Fred, and it's going to be passed all the way back to David De Gea, much to the delight of the Saints fans here. A lot of them here for the first time since March 2020, a 1-0 defeat to Newcastle United, hoping for a little bit more positivity this afternoon. Here is Martial down that far side, the left. Manchester United from left to right as we look down on this second half. Finds Shaw, and now Fernandes with a little feint, and then plays the ball towards Wan-Bissaka, and Manchester United and Pogba are claiming a handball. Pogba's shot was deflected away for a corner, and Craig Pawson points for the corner kick. This of course will be looked at again. Let's see if Pogba has a case.
The volley came in on the rebound back from Wan-Bissaka. He finds Paul Pogba and he smashes it on the volley. He hits Salisu, but I'm not sure it's enough, whether the arm is completely outside of the body. Made an impact. I don't think he could do much about it, knowing it's carried on.
Here comes the corner kick. There has been a change for Southampton, we should say. Jan Bednarek is on for Theo Walcott, so perhaps a change in shape for Southampton. So it looks like it did perhaps hit his arm. It might actually have been on the t-shirt, which in these new rules would not be a handball.
You're right, Southampton have gone to a back five. Livramento as the wing back, Stevens, Bednarek in the middle, Salisu to the left, and then as a left wing back got Perro. Two holding midfielders of Ward-Prowse and Romeo, and then Gineppo, Adams and Armstrong as your front three.
Just been told that the former Bournemouth boss Eddie Howe is in attendance here watching the game. Still a resident of the South Coast, looking for his next job, close to being the Celtic boss. He's gone to Ange Postecoglou. Keep you updated on the Scottish Premiership, of course. Got a reporter at Ross County against Rangers. That kicked off at 3 o'clock. 2 o'clock kickoffs here. St Mary's, Southampton 1, Manchester United 0. Another 2 o'clock at Molineux. Wolves 0, Spurs 1. A quick throw in. Manchester United caught napping. Here's Stewart. Here's Armstrong into the arms of David De Gea. Nearly touched in by Adams.
It's quickly how they built the relationship, Adams and Armstrong, straight away. Armstrong running towards the goal. He's tried to flick it with the outside. He's trying to find Che Adams. It was just not enough. He would have had a tap in, but you know, 2 games into the season and they really look comfortable and at home with each other, and that relationship's building.
So why do you think Ralph Hasenhüttl has changed to a back five?
I don't know whether he's anticipating whether Manchester United will bring on speedy wing players and try and pull them apart, whether he's quite happy to protect, and they were getting their strength down the flanks.
It's a good challenge, one we've seen often by Aaron Wan-Bissaka on Gineppo, who was trying to scuttle away on this near side, the left.
Another reason why I think he might have brought Bednarek on is for set plays. You know, actually thinking at times, where's Manchester United's biggest threat? And I have to say it's their set play. So bringing him on, adding another tall physical player that's good aerially, Bednarek, then I think maybe that might to do with it as well.
Greenwood just about keeps that in, but his pass only finds James Ward-Prowse on the halfway line. Southampton kicking from right to left in their home strip. Red and white stripes, black shorts and white socks as Harry Maguire heads the ball away, and it's a shanked clearance by De Gea, but Fred was onto it first and has twisted and turned away, has done it brilliantly well, and is being manhandled by Moussa Djenepo, and Djenepo is going to go into the book for that. Let's head to Molineux. Wolves against Spurs. Sahel Sahi.
Started in the second half, Robin. We literally played 2 minutes of the second half. It's still Wolves 0. Tottenham won that goal in the first half after 9 minutes. Dele Alli was tripped by the Wolves goalkeeper. He took the penalty himself, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. As I said, just started. Harry Kane still on the bench. Let's see if he makes his first appearance in the Premier League this season for Tottenham. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1.
Top work, Sahel. If Harry Kane moves an inch from that bench, we will let you know. Here comes Southampton again on this near side, the left. Header away, falls straight to Adams, who's taken a couple of touches. Could he have taken it first time? And it's thundered over the bar by Livramento.
Adams should have hit it. Set up nicely for him. Doesn't look like he had the confidence to do it, but it came down the right flank. It was headed clear from Matic, and he falls to Che Adams. He's on the edge of the 18-yard box. Bend it in that top corner. Have the confidence, and he passes it back to Livramento, who running onto it and smashes it over the bar, but should have had the confidence there, Robin. You know, just looking at Manchester United as well, that how they're building up, they're actually dropping Matic back into the back line to make a 3 and really pushing their fullbacks on to wing back. So maybe that's why Southampton changed and anticipated. Look, we're 1-0 up. They're probably going to bring on their wide players and try and attack us down the flanks. We'll be the first ones to make the move.
Moussa Djenepo down, getting some treatment here for Southampton, so a bit of break in play. So we can tell you that on Sports Extra you can listen to the final round of the Women's Open Golf. Highlights on BBC Television tonight, BBC 2 at 11 o'clock. And also following the match between Arsenal and Chelsea, Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will be here for 6:06. I'm sure they would love to hear from Southampton fans if they've been affected by the ticketing issues this afternoon. Apparently an issue with the turnstile, a new system, which hasn't quite worked out. So lots of questions to be asked for some of the fans who are coming back to St Mary's for the first time in around 18 months. Lindelof tries to send it forward. It's nodded away by Perrault. Ward-Prowse finds Romeo. Turns away and finds Armstrong picking up that pocket of space, and Adams had made the run. It was Livramento actually who made the run over on that far side, and it was picked up and picked off by Shaw. Here goes Armstrong trying to put Harry Maguire under pressure now. Finds David De Gea. De Gea just about releases the ball on this near side, the right to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now Fred into Matic. Man United have beaten the Southampton press, and this is good build-up play from United. Wan-Bissaka on this near side, the right back marauding forward. He's got Bruno Fernandes on the overlap. He finds him. Fernandes with the low cross, and it's just away from Paul Pogba. I think Livramento got a little touch there away from the Frenchman. Pogba into Fernandes, tries to get the return ball. It's Greenwood, and it's in. Mason Greenwood turns to the Southampton fans and says, how about that? It just trickled under Alex McCarthy. Really good team goal from Manchester United, finished by Mason Greenwood. 1-1.
Look, it's all about their star players, Pogba, Fernandes, and then look, it falls to Mason Greenwood, and he's not going to miss from there. But Pogba picks it up in the 18-yard box, double step over, nice little flick into Bruno Fernandes, who sets him up. I mean, Southampton are nowhere near him. Gets it back to Pogba, who sticks out a toe, and it falls to Mason Greenwood's 8 yards out on his favoured left foot. He keeps it low, it goes through legs, and not stopping it. McCarthy 1-1.
Southampton try and respond immediately. Adams on the edge of the penalty area. Livramento was making that run over on the far side, and it was just cut out. Greenwood 2-2 for him now to start the season.
There's no one better than him for Manchester United in that 18-yard box. When it falls to him, you just have that belief, that confidence that he'll score. And again, it was Pogba, Fernandes, a nice little link-up play, and then just clinical, but looks like Sancho might be making an appearance of him.
Here we go, Jadon Sancho taking off the fluorescent orange bib and being given some instructions on the bench. Once again, Southampton have surrendered a lead to Manchester United. They did so in the fixture here last season. 2-0 up they were, they lost 3-2. It was Edinson Cavani with a brace that day. That's another really good ball over the top. Anthony Martial running onto it over on the far side. Left side the penalty area, and it's a challenge by Stevens. It's out for a corner kick to Manchester United. The momentum has swung the Reds' way.
Love Paul Pogba's going to the Man United fans, come on. Again, that's really good movement for Martial. That's what I expected to see from him in the first half. Comes to feet, opens the space up and behind, then sprints in behind. It's a great ball. Causes a threat. Every time you turn a team, defenders do not want to be facing their own goal, and he wins this side of the corner.
Luke Shaw over on the far side, left-footed, out-swinging corner, bodies everywhere, and it is defended well by Southampton, picked up by Greenwood. Still inside the Southampton half, and now here's Aaron Wan-Bissaka over on the far side, the left, as they try and rearrange from the corner kick. Mason Greenwood, such a deadly finisher. Martial making a run off the shoulder once again, but the flag has gone up on this near side.
So you just alluded that so well there, off the shoulder. It's making those runs off the shoulders. The first half he was just standing in no man's land really. He wasn't really threatening the back line. In the last 2 minutes he's had more impact than he did in the first 45, and that's where he's at his best. That's what I want to see more of Martial.
Jadon Sancho receiving instructions from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Will be his second appearance in a Manchester United shirt. 2 from the subs bench. We'll have to wait and see who comes off for him. Probably will be Martial, but we'll have to wait and see. Goal kick, McCarthy over the halfway line, headed back by Harry Maguire, picked up by Gineppo. Rameau's touch let him down. Bit of battle in the midfield there. Ward-Prowse comes away with it and spreads it out wide to Livramento. He's been very impressive, the 18-year-old, so far this afternoon. Good running again, gets the cross in, and it goes out of play. It's going to be a goal kick.
You're right, for an 18-year-old, he's fantastic. He's energetic, he gets up and down the pitch, technically he's good. Defending, very good as well. Really good signing for Southampton.
And it is Anthony Martial who is withdrawn. He's shown flashes, and actually most of those flashes have been in this second half, where he's made some intelligent runs, but his afternoon is done, and Jadon Sancho is on for some more Manchester United minutes, signed in the summer from Borussia Dortmund. 50 goals in 4 seasons for them.
It's as you predicted as well, Robin. He comes on to the right hand side. Sancho, Greenwood going into the number 9 position. I've said all along that's his best position.
Now Bruno Fernandes finds Greenwood right where he wants him. Pogba, the shimmy and the shot, just wide of the far post. What a chance. Paul Pogba showing his class once again, but just off target. Let's head to Ross County against Rangers. Kenny Crawford, goal.
It's a brilliant start for the visitors. Ross County 0, Rangers 1. Joe Aribo, 15 minutes, received a pass from Alfredo Morelos, took it left-footed and curled it high into the far corner. Past Ross Laidlaw, brilliant finish. You couldn't have placed it any better. Rangers are 1-0 up in the Highlands.
That was a 3 o'clock kick-off. Defending champions in the Scottish Premiership strike first into the 60th minute here at St Mary's, and at the moment it is one-way traffic. Manchester United getting back into this game.
Can we just talk about that Paul Pogba chance and skill? There's 3 players around him, and even I don't think anyone expected what he did. A nice little chop turn, opens the chance up, and he just hits it with his left foot just inches wide. But he has been a joy to watch today. I was so excited to see him play, and he is not disappointed.
Salisa with the pass back. Bruno Fernandes closing down McCarthy, and the pressure produces the mistake from McCarthy. And it looks like Shea Adams is down now for Southampton. The physios are ready from the Saints bench. They come running on here. This could be really worrying from a Saints point of view. Shea Adams scored the goal that gave them the lead. He's looked very lively. Just showing the Mason Greenwood goal again, Karen. There's been a lot of debate, isn't there, about whether perhaps, not going to the Euros would have helped him. He looks like he's grown, he looks like he's matured.
Well, even his finish, he scuffs it. But he's just one of those centre forwards that if he scuffs it, if he hits it clean, it's gone in the back of the net. He's just so... You train with these type of players, Robin, where you just go, it's in. You just know, they've just got something. It's not, you can't train it. The more times it's just ingrained in him. He's just one of those type of players where he just finds the back of the net for fun, and that's why he should play centrally. I know he's played out on the right and cutting in to try and get his left foot shots, but he's better in around the 18-yard box, and that centre forward position will be his moving forward. I think he can take it now. It doesn't matter about moving forward.
He's certainly doing his case no harm at all, Mason Greenwood. Fred, left-footed, tries the big switch. Livramento can't quite take it under his spell, and Pogba with a little flick trying to find Luke Shaw back in Southampton possession over on that far side to Livramento. Another promising right back, English. Not like we don't have a dearth of them. Let's go back to the Global Energy Stadium. Kenny Crawford.
This is turning into a brilliant afternoon for Rangers. Only less than 20 minutes on the clock and they're 2-0 up already. It was Joe Aribo with the first one, and Connor Goldson has headed in the second one from James Tavernier's corner. A downward header, it bounced up and into the roof of the net. Ross County 0, Rangers 2.
Southampton 1, Manchester United 1 in the Premier League here. Still Spurs leading Wolves by a goal to 0 at Molyneux. Here on BBC Radio 5 Live, this is Premier League Sunday. The next offering will be at 4:30, Arsenal against Chelsea. Conor McNamara and Clinton Morrison will bring you that one. Southampton with a chance down the far side. It's picked up by Armstrong into the penalty area. Finds Shea Adams, who's up and ready back on the field, and it's cleared by Harry Maguire under a lot of pressure. And Craig Pawson brings the play back to give the foul and a free kick to Manchester United just outside their own 6-yard box.
Again, Shea Adams and Armstrong linking up really well. So quick. Armstrong, he's really pulls the back line back. He's got some pace to him.
And on Paul Pogba, Karen, it's to his last year of his Manchester United contract. Rumours that he was going to go to Paris Saint-Germain, but the arrival of Messi put paid to that, but might go somewhere on a free next season. Oh, what a pass that is. A little bit too much on it for Jadon Sancho, who's forced a little bit wide. Plays it back here to Fred, who chips it in, and it's over the bar. Opportunity for Mason Greenwood to get his and Manchester United second. He couldn't quite rise high enough.
They look more comfortable now, Manchester United. Pogba coming into the pocket space, plays in Shaw. Shaw then puts in a really dangerous ball. High line of Southampton, he just puts it in front of them, and it's just a little bit too far ahead of Jadon Sancho, and he pulls it back to Fred, who dinks it in 6-yard line, and Mason Greenwood gets up, gets contact on it with his head, but just can't keep it down. But they're starting to feel more in their rhythm now, Manchester United, and they're into their groove, similar to we saw last week.
Do you think any of that is the change of formation from a Southampton point of view as well?
And I just think Manchester United would have had a rocket from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's been more intensity, they've been more aggressive. Matic has gone, right, if you're going to have a battle with me, Romeo and Ward-Prowse, I'm going to give it back. And they've used the width more.
Sancho linking up well with Wan-Bissaka, who gets the cross in, and the header again from Greenwood, and it's shovelled behind. And again, Paul Pogba is on his haunches asking for a decision. The flag has gone up, and that Manchester United chance goes begging once again.
Jadon Sancho pulls it back in for the cross, comes in on the right hand side, and from Wan-Bissaka. Fernandes gets the head on it, and he heads it down. He does everything right, what you tell us a forward or any attacking player. It's a good save from McCarthy, and I think there Pogba's saying he couldn't get to it because he's getting fouled from Stevens, who kind of jumps on him, but referee hasn't given anything but another big chance of Manchester United, and you can sense now something's coming.
They have this astonishing away record, Manchester United, the run they're on, 26 games away from home, unbeaten. Armstrong goes down under the challenge of Harry Maguire. Craig Pawson says play on, and Manchester United do, and they have numbers forward here. Bruno Fernandes, he has Jadon Sancho up alongside him, he finds Greenwood, and that's a really good challenge by Salisu, stuck out a leg, got the ball away from the on-rushing Mason Greenwood. Gineppo, though, has misplaced the pass towards Matic, and now Pogba exchanging passes with Jadon Sancho. It's a real battle as Southampton try and bring it away. Manchester United wing it back inside the centre circle and play it down the far side, the left for Sancho now. Manages to pick the pass, and now here is Bruno Fernandes. Right-footed, swings the cross in towards Pogba. He's almost taking up the striking position. Very far forward, Paul Pogba.
Well, they're really pushing Southampton back now, and every player is pretty much in their own half, and they're just leaving Armstrong up on his own, and when he goes up to him, if he can't make it stick, they're again against a wave of an attack of Manchester United.
Crunching challenges going in here. Manchester United bring the ball away with Luke Shaw. We'll get an update from Molineux in just a second. And Manchester United being patient, and back to Harry Maguire. Let's head to Molineux now. Sahel Sahi.
Just past the hour mark here, still Wolves 0, Tottenham 1, but Wolves are pouring forward. First it was Cody, ball out the back to Semedo down the right. He played the ball into the air for Trincao. It was saved by Lloris down to his right. And then a couple of minutes later, Dyer was dispossessed on the halfway line. Neves picked out Traore. He was one-on-one with Lloris, and Lloris saved with his legs. Harry Kane is now warming up to my left, just on the touchline, but it's still Wolves 0, Tottenham 1.
Pressure pouring on from Manchester United here. Wan-Bissaka from the right-back position inside to Fred, and now Nemanja Matic. Southampton can't get the ball off this Manchester United side now. It is all being played over to our right. Here's Harry Maguire striding forward, midway inside the Saints' half. Now Wan-Bissaka once again. Sends the ball down the line to Bruno Fernandes. Little Cruyff turn away from Gineppo, who takes the bait and commits the foul. It's a free kick on this near side, the right, to Manchester United.
Bruno did a nice little Cruyff turn. Gineppo just again dangling a leg. Free kick, rightly so, towards Manchester United now.
.68 minutes played. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Shea Adams and then Mason Greenwood with the goals. And it's going to be Bruno Fernandes with the right foot to take this one. One-man wall of Adam Armstrong, who's again looked Premier League quality, though he hasn't had a lot of service today. Here is Fernandes. It's a good header away by Romeo, and back in by Greenwood. Took it first time, and it's well wide. And his second substitution of the day for Southampton. Ibrahima Diallo is coming on. His second season at Southampton. And Moussa Gineppo coming off to standing ovation. He's worked hard, he's been kicked, he's been down, and now he's off for Ibrahima Diallo.
Just seeing now what Southampton are doing, because they are starting to lose the physical battle. They're not really getting any ball possession, and seeing where Diallo's going to come on. They're going to stick with the back five, looks like they are. He's just going to play in front of Perro and give him a little bit more protection, because they are starting to come down this right hand side a little bit too much now, Manchester United.
Lindelof wins the header midway inside his own half. Greenwood tries to flick it forward towards Pogba. Amazing skill once again. Pogba pokes it forward towards Greenwood, but Southampton win the ball back. Here is Livramento away from Pogba. He's got some tricks as well, but here is Pogba once again. First time ball inside to Bruno Fernandes. Back to Pogba, hugging the far touchline. Pogba pulling the strings. The conductor. And he's hitting all the right notes at the moment. Sancho into Wan-Bissaka, who was well tracked. And Southampton have it back with James Ward-Prowse. Salisu to Perro, who was challenged by Wan-Bissaka, who was straight on him. 20 minutes remaining. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Looks like Southampton just taking their time over things now, calming things down.
Yeah, just trying to slow the momentum down that Manchester United had, and it's worked. They've kind of been a little more comfortable now. Diallo's in that midfield. I think he'll give a little bit more energy, tenacity, which is where they get their success from. I'm not saying they're not a good football inside, but they're better when they're in the opposition half, making them uncomfortable. They just haven't been able to do that because Manchester United have been very, very forward, front-footed and aggressive in the second half.
Stevens sends it forward towards Armstrong. Doesn't quite get there ahead of Lindelof. It's out of play off on that far side for a Saints throw. Let's get an update from Carnoustie. Ian Carter is watching the final round of the Women's Open.
Packed leaderboard with 2 Britons within a shot of the lead. There are 5 co-leaders, 2 from Australia, Kyrgios and Lee, Salas of the United States, Kirst Madsen and Nordqvist, all at 9 under par. Georgia Hall was at 9 under par. She's just dropped a shot, having gone eagle birdie. She's at 8 under, 1 behind, as is the amateur Louise Duncan. No drop shot so far. She's on the 6th and she's at 8 under, just 1 shot off the lead.
And you can listen to that in full on Sports Extra right now. Flick forward into the Southampton, into the Manchester United penalty, I should say, from Romain Perraud. Ward-Prowse, they won it back well here. Diallo, again trying to shuffle it over to the far side, and it's charged down by Pogba. He's done his defensive duty as well as looking dangerous creatively on the attack. Salisu puts it out of play. Ralph Hasenhüttl is extremely frustrated, gesticulating wildly. Scott McTominay being readied for Manchester United. One all here on BBC Radio 5 Live, Premier League Sunday. Again, Harry Maguire this time, dawdling. It's Armstrong. It's a brilliant save by David De Gea.
It's a carbon copy of the first half. Again, this is where they're so vulnerable, Man United, when they're in possession. Maguire not checking his shoulders, Ward-Prowse hunting it down, winning it back. 1 pass forward, 2nd pass then into Armstrong. He's literally 8 yards out and it's on his left foot. He should be scoring that. That should be 2-1. Has to put that away. Left foot, it's a good save from De Gea, but at a comfortable height. That should have been 2-1 to Southampton.
Just like that, in the blink of an eye, Southampton had a massive opportunity and they have failed to take it. They do have a corner kick. Touch to Ward-Prowse, away by Bruno Fernandes. Here's Fred, picked up by Salisu. Wins another corner kick off Fred.
This is where Southampton come alive in this half, and it's because it just, I know I keep using it and keep saying it, but that's the only way I can kind of describe it. It's just that uncomfortableness that they make you feel. And you know, with the crowd as well, you're probably a player thinking it's so anxious when you're on the ball, someone really getting tight to you, the crowd are behind you.
Armstrong was played in, he was in. De Gea read it well, but you're absolutely right, Karen, it was made it easy for him. Corner kick for Southampton here. And it's going to be James Ward-Prowse out swinging, right-footed. Shea Adams, Armstrong nearly got the touch at the back post, and Manchester United clear, only as far as Diallo on this near side. Puts it into the middle. Bednarek. And it's going to be picked up on the far side by Bruno Fernandes. A substitution at Molineux for Sohail Sahi.
And it's the England captain Harry Kane, Robin, who's about to come on He's about to make his first Premier League appearance of this season. Speculation linking him to Manchester City, £150 million plus, but he just jogs onto the pitch and he replaces Son and he joins the Tottenham attack, and it's Tottenham who leading Wolves by 1-0. So we'll see Harry Kane for the next 18 minutes here at Molineux.
We'll bring you every moment of his appearance there. Fred off, Scott McTominay on for Manchester United. A quarter of an hour remaining here. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Let's head to the Emirates Team News with Conor McNamara.
And Romelu Lukaku does make his debut for Chelsea second time round. He starts for the Champions League winners. There are 3 changes for Arsenal from their defeat to Brentford. Saka, Holding and Suarez comes in. And for Chelsea, as well as Lukaku, James replaces Chalobah.
Thank you, Connor. Commentary of that one at 4:30 on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Arsenal against Chelsea. Meanwhile, here at St Mary's, Southampton have a free kick after another hesitant defending from Manchester United.
Well, look, it's another square ball. Wan-Bissaka in his own half. Exactly what Southampton are thinking. Thank you very much. They pick it up. They counter-attack. Che Adams is in a 1v1. Harry Maguire touches it with his right foot past him. Maguire can do nothing but bring him down. He earns himself a yellow card and now a free kick to Southampton, all because Manchester United sloppy in possession in their own half.
Overall, it's been a bit patchy from a Manchester United point of view. Burst into the new season last weekend, that 5-1 win against Leeds. But they've not looked as convincing at all this afternoon here. James Ward-Prowse with his hands on his hips. The Southampton captain signed a new 5-year deal amid interest from other Premier League clubs during this transfer window, nailing his colours to the mast. They are the red and white stripes of Southampton. Here's Ward-Prowse, who is winding up to take this free kick. Anticipation building around St Mary's. Slightly right of centre, about 30 yards out, and Jan Bednarek is complaining that the Manchester United wall has shuffled forward, and so the anticipation builds in crescendos, and a bit of a push on Bednarek there. Passions running high here. Here we go again. Let's hope this isn't an anticlimax. Craig Pawson blows his whistle. James Ward-Prowse looks up. Right-footed! And it's punched away by De Gea. That didn't look very comfortable at all. That looked on target, but he's punched it away, and it's fallen kindly to Pogba, who's made a lot of ground here, and it's tripped up just inside the Southampton half. Free kick to Manchester United.
Oh, that's brilliant from Pogba, but that came from the Ward-Prowse free kick. Really bends it with a lot of pace, trying to put it in the corner. I think it was a comfortable save in the end from De Gea, but he decided to punch it, and then he punched out to Paul Pogba, who flicked it around the corner, got a little toe, and he was fouled and won his team a free kick in his attacking half.
A change at right back now for Saints. Romain Perraud, left back, is coming off, and Kyle Walker-Peters is on. Usually a right back. It looks like he's going to be playing at left back for the final 10 minutes or so of this game.
Yeah, I think Perraud just ran out of steam. He's had a lot to defend against, and I think he's had a gel and a drink 10 minutes or so ago, and you could just see he's starting to get tired now, and it's good to see Walker-Peters back and in the team. He was brilliant last season.
Well, he's got competition now for that right back berth though, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, Livramento, very, very good player. Really, really impressive.
Manchester United in possession inside their own half with Lindelof. Looks like we're going to have to wait to see Raphael Varane make his debut. Not named on the bench today. United inside the Southampton half. 1-1 here at St Mary's. The clock ticks over to 80 minutes on the scoreboard away to our right. Sancho forced back. to Harry Maguire. Now Lindelof inside the centre circle. Over to Matic. It wasn't a great pass by Lindelof, and his touch lets him down, and Southampton might be able to pounce here. Romeo sends it wide to the far side, and James Ward-Prowse, he gets the cross in. Adams tries to make the run to the near post, and the flag is raised over on that far side. A Southampton corner kick.
Again, it's at Manchester United's own fault, really. Sloppy passing. The Southampton penetrate on that, going at the heart of you, playing it out wide then to Ward-Prowse, who gets in the cross and it's deflected out for a corner. But look at Solskjaer now, he's thinking, look, we can't pass to each other and causing our own problems here.
Corner kick over on the far side, which is going to be taken by James Ward-Prowse. Craig Pawson has just asked him to hurry things along. This result would be much more favourable from a Southampton point of view, you suspect. It's an outswinger once again. Bednarek's on the deck. It's cleared by Manchester United. Sancho can't control. It's put out of play by Oriol Romeo.
I'll say the change of shape for Southampton. Yes, it has given Manchester United slightly more opportunities of the fullbacks to push on, but defended really well. Southampton at times really kept Manchester United at bay and protected McCarthy as best as possible, given the attacking array that they have.
Sancho attempted a little flick, it doesn't come off, and Diallo comes away with it for Southampton. That's a terrible ball. I think he was expecting Shea Adams to make a different movement. The long diagonal is cut out well this near side by Kyle Walker-Peters. Now down the line for Armstrong. Southampton, he's only got Adams up ahead. He's going to have to try and go alone. Armstrong gets there first, gets tripped. Pawson, the referee, I think he's claimed an advantage there. Wasn't much of one. Southampton have been forced to go forward. Either that or he didn't see it as a foul. Livramento once again showing great power to go past a couple of defenders, but Luke Shaw sticks out a leg and stops him in his tracks. It's one back though. Jack Stevens is all the way up there for Southampton. Now Romeo. There's good play from Southampton. Stevens taking up the right wing position over on that far side. Here's Livramento. Now Diallo. Good passage of play from Southampton. 1-1 between them and Manchester United here at St Mary's on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Salisu. Now they work it to this near side, the left, Southampton, to Walker-Peters, and now Romeo. Back to Kyle Walker-Peters. Inside to Ward-Prowse. Little ball sideways to Diallo. Finds Romeo, and it's cut out eventually by Nemanja Matic. Pogba. Off the ball. Bruno Fernandes has gone down. Pogba twisting and turning, trying to find a pass. Fernandes is back up now because Jadon Sancho is running at the Southampton defence and plays a ball out to this near side, and Mason Greenwood settles with a throw. Walker-Peters poking it out of play.
He's opening up the game now. And credit to Southampton, I think he had 20-30 passes in that passage of play. It's just that final pass from Romeo, disappointing, but really working it. And then Manchester United having a go then when they were open, expansive, trying to hit Southampton on the counter-attack.
McTominay with the cross in. That is a fabulous ball from Scott McTominay, and there was no Manchester United shirt to put that one in. Flashed across the face.
It's one of those balls that you're just dying to get on the end of as a centre forward, but no one's read it. It's fizzed across. McCarthy doesn't want to do anything about it. Literally 5 yards out, you're just thinking, go on, where's Greenwood? Where's someone just for that tap in?
It looks like we're going to see Jesse Lingard in a Manchester United shirt here for the first time since January last season. He appeared in the FA Cup before a very productive loan spell at West Ham United, and the fact that he's appearing for Manchester United might just be a dagger to the heart of the Hammers, who were hoping that he might rejoin them permanently.
And I think as the game's opening up now, he's the perfect counter-attacking player. When spaces open up and he just picks up the ball and runs, You saw how prolific he was at West Ham. Just burst on. It was literally like a computer game, how he dribbled and ran with the ball. He was just lightningly quick. I think this is what we'll be looking at him for the last 5 or so minutes plus added time.
Jesse Lingard on for Nemanja Matic. Another goal for Kenny Crawford at the Global Energy Stadium. Kenny.
And a very interesting twist indeed, because Ross County have pulled one back. It's now Ross County 1, Rangers 2. Rangers looked rampant, but there was a cross by Ben Payton into the box. Rangers only half cleared, fell to Harry Clark, and he slammed it in from about 6 yards out. He's on loan from Arsenal, so a great start from him, recently signed for Ross County under the tutelage of Malky Mackay, who's in charge now. Ross County 1, Rangers 2.
Great pressure from Armstrong, winning a corner out of absolutely nothing for Southampton. Let's nip to Molineux. Sahil Sahi.
Still Wolves 0, Tottenham 1, but Harry Kane's just had a glorious chance. Fed through by Bergwijn, one-on-one with the Portuguese goalkeeper Jose Sarr, and Sarr saved it with his legs. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1.
Southampton 1, Manchester United 1 here at St Mary's. 4 minutes of the 90 remaining, and it's a Southampton corner kick on this near side. And again, James Ward-Prowse steps up to take it. The right boot will be an in-swinger this time. Very congested in that 6-yard box, mainly from Manchester United players, you've got to say. It's a deep one, and it's poured away by David De Gea right on top of him. And it's going to be a throw-in over on that far side, level with the edge of the penalty area to Saints.
David De Gea's done decision-making when to punch and come and command. His penalty area has been really good today, been impressive. There's always that argument, who's going to be number one? Well, he's been really good today for Manchester United.
Armstrong, lovely touch away from Pogba. Tries to find Adams. Fired it at him. Shaw goes down. Craig Pawson has given the decision a free kick to Manchester United deep inside their own half, which they take quickly. To Lindelof, bring it away from the edge of the penalty area, but is forced back. Southampton still full of energy. Luke Shaw over the halfway line, over on the left side. Manchester United.
Pogba's gone more central now as Lingard's gone onto that left-hand side where Pogba initially was, so they're really going for it now, Manchester United. It looks like they've got 5 forwards in that line at times. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is desperate to get a result here, victory.
The time is not on their side. 2 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Here's Lingard over on that far side. Plays it back to Luke Shaw. Now here's Greenwood. Going to shimmy his way into the penalty area. That's a really good ball. Twinkle toes from Lingard, and it's deflected up into the air, into the arms of Alex McCarthy.
Just see everyone's eyes light up. Plays into Sancho's on that left-hand side. He cuts it back onto his right foot, and he's trying to pick out someone. King of the assists he was in Germany at times, just trying to find someone who's blocked, and then falls into the hands of McCarthy. And Southampton, they've done really well, haven't they, protecting McCarthy? With the players that Man United have got and the pace, changing to a back five has really helped them as well.
Walker-Peters is forced back. Salisu. He's in a much more assured game this afternoon than he did at Goodison Park in the opening day. I should mention the players that Southampton have lost over this transfer window. Danny Ings, Yannick Vestergaard, Ryan Bertrand, a big chunk of the spine. And they've looked, on the whole, very composed. Eventually, Craig Pawson blows up for the foul. Free kick to Southampton, midway inside the Manchester United half.
Such good feet there from Walker-Peters. He was going down a cul-de-sac and he managed to do a few drag backs. Really good skill, good strength as well to hold off McTominay. He's super strong, McTominay, and he holds him off and buys his team a free kick, and the fans rightly on their feet, loving that.
And Ralph Hasenhüttl is dispensed with the waistcoat. He still has the shirt. Free kick on the near touchline. It's going to be taken by Ward-Prowse, of course. High line by Manchester United, and Ward-Prowse Well, he tried to float it in, and I don't think anyone was on the same wavelength as him, and this could prove costly perhaps, because Manchester United on the break here. Greenwood, though, plays it back to Pogba, floats it over to the far side to Luke Shaw, who runs over the halfway line. He's got Lingard up ahead. They can't find him. 5 minutes of added time. Still time for someone to score the winner. Sancho to Scott McTominay. It's deflected his shot from the edge of the penalty area. Manchester United come again. Pogba. Fernandes trying to go round the outside. That is a strong challenge, but a fair one on Adams, and then Adams is absolutely taken out by Paul Pogba, and Pogba is going to go into the referee's book.
I think Bruno Fernandes is still arguing with the referee. He should have had that foul. It's given away from him. Brilliant tackle from Che Adams. Wins it back. And himself goes on the counter-attack, and then Pogba kicks at his leg and brings him down and earns himself a yellow card, as you said. But in that passage of play then, Solskjaer's screaming and shouting. I think he was aiming it towards McTominay or that side. He's disappointed with his side today, and it'd be interesting to see what he says post-match. But been most out on the technical area I've seen in a long time, and that's a big telling sign when you see him out there.
You're right, he's usually seated watching a monitor, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, dressed in black today, hands on hips, and now clapping his hands, trying to get his players going. One more win to go, few more minutes to go, I should say, trying to get them to push for a winner.
He's trying to do the old Fergie time, but Solskjaer time, I'm thinking. But I think Ralph Hasenhüttl was doing exactly the same as well. So it's quite animated down on the touchline. It's enjoyable.
So into stoppage time here at St Mary's. Still all square, 1-1. It's been a really good encounter, really entertaining. 5 minutes of stoppage time, 2 minutes have elapsed. Jack Stevens has also got a yellow card for Southampton. There have been quite a few this afternoon. A feisty game as well. Throw into Southampton, which Carl Walker-Peters, who is playing at left back, having come on for Romain Perraud, takes and gets back from Romeo, tries to make waves down this near side, the left. Bruno Fernandes with a risky ball, but it's paid off from left to right. Here is Luke Shaw, surging over the halfway line. A little bit slow, a little bit sluggish from Manchester United. They'll rely on Paul Pogba to pick out a pass, and it's not quite as perfect as it has been, and it just bounces away for a Southampton goal kick.
And that's his first pass is probably given away, and you think, wow, get the one out Pogba, and he's trying to find Sancho and give him a 1v1. He just holds his hand up. Right idea, wrong execution, but the Southampton fans absolutely buzzing with that. And goal kick now, McCarthy slowing it down, getting the team up, kicking it long, and defended so well today. I must applaud Southampton in that, and I've been really impressed with Adams and Armstrong up top. And I think the more they play together, the more the team understand that their relationship feed them those type of balls. They'll be a threat throughout the season for Southampton.
Alex McCarthy taking his time over this goal kick. Next up for Southampton, away to Newcastle on Saturday, and then at home to West Ham United in the Premier League, and they have Newport County in the EFL Cup on Tuesday. Always a tricky one. Newport's famous for their giant killings. We've updates on that during a commentary on Tuesday night of Barrow against Aston Villa on BBC Radio 5 Live. Misplaced pass from Aaron Wan-Bissaka this time, down the line and out for a throw-in to Saints. More seconds tick away into the final minute of stoppage time here. Let's head to Wolves against Spurs. Sahel Sahi is watching.
Tottenham are still leading, Robin, and we're into time added on at the end of this game. It'll be 3 minutes that will be added on. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1. Wolves are pouring forward, but they're lacking that final touch, that final pass, and the home fans are getting frustrated. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1.
Going to be back-to-back wins for Nuno, Spurs manager. And one for the boys on 606. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will be taking your calls right after Arsenal against Chelsea, which is next here on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. I'm sure Saints fans and Manchester United fans want to get in touch too. 1-1 into the final seconds here. Luke Shaw trying to make something happen. He's lost it though, and now Livramento picks it up over on the far side. Looks a bit leggy, plays it back to Adams. The crowd here were urging him forward, but I think Southampton will try and just hold what they have. It's in the possession of David De Gea, rolls it out. This could be the last chance. They need to send it forward quickly. We have played the 5 minutes of time. As you can hear the whistles around St Mary's. Shaw. Now Pogba. Finds Luke Shaw. This has got to go in now. Luke Shaw winding up for the cross. It's away by Stevens. Craig Pawson takes a look at his watch and blows his whistle. And Ralph Hasenhüttl punches the air in delight. He's so happy with that performance, and not a bad result either against Manchester United. Looked imperious last week. They looked a little bit nervy this week, and a deserved point for Southampton. It's finished here. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Karen Carney.
Looking at both sets of players when that whistle went, all went to their knees. Physical game today, very physical, end to end at times. I think you said earlier, very patchy. Manchester United started the game probably the better, and then Southampton grew into it, got in amongst it and took the lead. In the second half, then Manchester United came out a little bit better, and Forster Mason Greenwood with the equaliser, clinical in that, and the subs came on. But Southampton, I think, predicted the subs that were going to come on and already went into a shape to try and nullify that. And I think in the end it was a fair result from both sides. I think Manchester United were disappointed that they didn't bring their best version of themselves, but home crowd advantage really spurred Southampton on and deserved the point.
They certainly did. Ralph Hasenhüttl can't fault the effort of his players, and they've also managed to get their first points on the board of the season against a side that they very rarely get anything from. Really good game here at St Mary's in the sunshine. It's finished. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1.
It's fascinating, Karen, how Manchester United, at a point in that second half, having got the equaliser, looked like they were in control, and you just started to get that feeling of inevitability about it. And then it just went. It was like all that control, all that momentum just disappeared. Was that United's failings, or was that Southampton's success?
I think I even said it's coming, this goal, and then you're right, all of a sudden it was like they turned the tap off, and it, you know, then they're playing square balls in their own half, and you're like, well, that's exactly what Southampton want. And then they grew into the game. So I actually think it's a bit of both. I don't want to be disrespectful to Southampton, but I don't think Manchester United brought their best version of themselves today. I thought maybe team selection didn't suit and how they played in the first half. And then Southampton are a confident side, and they grow into it and they make it difficult, and they've got the home crowd advantage, and they definitely deserve the point today, Southampton. And I think Solskjaer, I'd be interested to hear what he says, because if I was him, I'd be really disappointed, especially the first half. They didn't turn up, and you cannot do that in the Premier League, and you cannot do that against a side like Southampton, who just make life so difficult for you.
Yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is quite literally scratching his head as he applauds the Manchester United fans and walks toward the tunnel. More from St Mary's in a second, but it's full time at Molineux. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, perfect return for Nuno Espirito Santo to Molineux. A 1-0 win and a clean sheet for a second successive Sunday. Dele Alli with the goal in the first half from the penalty spot after he was tripped up by the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had more of the ball and more of the chances, but a resilient Tottenham rearguard, they held out. And Harry Kane, he came on with 18 minutes to play. He did pick up a yellow card for time wasting. The Tottenham supporters sang joyously, he's one of our own. The Wolves fans, they responded by saying he wants to play for a big club. Big club or not, it's 2 out of 2 for Tottenham, and Watford next up at home a week today. Full time from Molineux. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1.
Yeah, Harry Kane's just finished applauding the Tottenham fans, and they have applauded back. The Wolves fans, when he came on, were chanting, "You'll be a mank in the morning." He is still a Tottenham Hotspur player, and he's back in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt. Back to St Mary's, 85058 at 5 Live Sports. Sam, when Pogba and Fernandes combine, it's glorious football. Danny says, love watching Pogba play. He makes difficult situations look so easy. Absolute class act. Now, the thing that struck me, Karen, about Pogba is that last season, this might have been the type of game where we didn't see the best Paul Pogba. So some consistency from that would be